we are as the umpires come onto the ground there, and looking splendid in the green and the grey.
They are. Hello to everyone who's watching on our video stream. They've just joined us as well. That was Mark Stone interrupting what was going to be my big introduction, but that's okay. It's Footscray and Essendon this afternoon, live here from Whitten Oval. And while I'm very much... I said I wasn't looking forward to it weather-wise. The matchup itself is going to be sensational because the hard yakka totally workwear VFL competition, it's really tightening up at the top. The ladder heading into this round number 19. Richmond sitting on top. They are 14-2 on 56 points. Essendon 12-3 with the game in hand. They're 48 points. Footscray also on the 15 games, 11-3, 46 points. They've got the draw in there. Williamstown also with the draw on 46 points. Then comes Werribee, have played the 16 games. They're on 36, along with Geelong, who's got a game in hand on Werribee. They're sitting at 9-6. We've got Port Melbourne and Box Hill. Port Melbourne playing the 16 games. They're 8-7-1, 34 points. Box Hill a game behind, 7-7 and a draw and 30 points. Sitting outside, we've got Casey, who are 7-9. 28 points. Then you've got the Northern Blues, 7-8, 28 points. Collingwood, who brought themselves back into that finals calculation. They're on 28 points, 7-9, but they're a game down on the Northern Blues. Or game up, I should say. Sandringham sit 20 points, so they're out of contention, as are North Melbourne, Coburg and Frankston with just the one win. Jordan Lyle, by the way, leading the battle for the Frosty Miller medal. 38 goals for Port Melbourne. Jake Riccardi next best with 34. So with a handful of rounds to go, things are really getting interesting. This is second versus third on the ladder. We also have coming up today, a bit later on at Adcon Stadium in Port Melbourne. It'll be Port Melbourne taking on Frankston. We've got Werribee taking on the Box Hill Hawks. That will be 2 o'clock bounce at Avalon Airport Oval, at Downer Oval in Williamstown. Boy, you reckon it's fresh here, Stoney? Lucky we're not down at Downer Oval because...
been on the bay today. The shift would be rocking.
Williamstown taking on Coburg. And then the curtain raiser at GMHBA Stadium for the AFL game tonight will be Geelong and North Melbourne. The match tomorrow, the Channel 7 game, 11:50 Starby, Richmond and the Northern Blues. That's at the MCG. And at Victoria Park, it is Collingwood taking on the Casey Demons, with Sandringham having the bye. The interesting thing, just to point out, as a heads up, in round 21, there are only a handful of games to finish off the season. Casey, Frankston, North Melbourne, Port Melbourne and Richmond all have the bye. So there are chances for those clubs who are playing in the final round to make that jump, particularly the Northern Blues. They're the interesting one for me to see whether they can sneak into the 8.
Yeah, it's really good. Again, every season we say it, it'll come to the last round and the side can finish in the top 4 or out of the 4 or even out of the 8. So you want to be playing your best football around that time of the year. Well,
the thing is, it's a big game for the Bombers today because they want to hang on to second spot and make a push, maybe for top spot, because they're a game behind Richmond. They've got to win today because Footscray's run home is particularly good because they've got North Melbourne and Coburg to come in their run home. So teams that have been struggling this season. But the Bombers, we're going to, as you said, Adam, we're going to cover them next week.
Yep.
They've got the top of the table clash with Richmond.
And then Geelong after that. So it's a much harder run home for the Bombers, and they're only a half game ahead of Footscray. And what is essentially on the line today potentially is, we know the top 2, they get the home qualifying final at their preferred venue. That's the prize that's on the line. So to get a home final, get the double chance and actually play it on your own home deck instead of what most likely would be Adcon Stadium. So that's a pretty significant prize on the line, and top 2 is really important for that.
We should mention the other big news with about 6 minutes to go before the bounce here was announced during the week that the VFL, the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL Grand Final, and also the Swiss Wellness VFL Women's Grand Final, the Love the Game Final Series, they have moved location, no longer at Marvel Stadium. This year they will be at Icon Park, the 2 grand finals in a festival of football, because the NAB competition, the boys competition, will be the day before.
Yep.
And it will mean that it'll be a Super Sunday, and it will be at Icon Park, which to me, I think we're all in furious agreement, gentlemen, that I think it's a great move.
Big tick. It's a massive tick for me, Stoney.
Great decision. I think it's there's a lot of supporters out there that will get along with the game, and we encourage all the supporters out there that follow VFL or follow AFL or VFL women's, NAB footy, to get along there, because it is a great venue. They spend a lot of time and effort into that ground. It is a ground for the people, and I think it'd be sensational that we get a lovely day out there, and we're going to get a lot of supporters there and get along there. It's going to be great football.
It will be, and we're looking forward to it as well. I mean, we've called a whole heap of games from around Icon Park, and it is nicely set up. And the thing is, though, if they get a crowd of, say, 14,000, the ground will look full. I mean, you can handle 25, unlike when they play at Marvel Stadium. 14,000 is nothing, really, in the scheme of things. So it would be good to have that community atmosphere, and I think it's probably the right place for it. I think, we go from Adcon at Port Melbourne to suddenly Marvel Stadium. We make that massive jump, but if we go to Icon Park and we can make that a real sort of fortress and a venue where, the fans will want to come in. We have the carnival atmosphere. They have a good time. It's equipped for it. They play the JLT there. They play the AFL women's competition there. It's going to be a great day for footy.
It's like an amphitheatre, and, the conditions will come into play, and whether it's a rainy day, there's showers, or it's really warm, because it can get warm that time of year. It's going to be fantastic. I'm so looking forward to the final series this year. I mean, you say it's the best time of the year, but you get down to Adcon Oval Stadium. It's just, it is the best place for football.
Sorry to interrupt, Stoney, because the toss of the coin is about to happen in the middle of the ground.
It is. I was getting carried away. Then here we go.
Pruden and Aaron Heppel.
So we've got the Essendon side winning the toss. So they'll go to the Barclay Street end, and as I said, there's a 4-goal breeze to that end, the left of the dial, and we're looking for a great contest here.
We are streaming live on VFL.com.au. We're also going to be live on SEN2 throughout the afternoon. We've got the Swiss Wellness VFL women's game to come between the Western Bulldogs and Essendon. That match to follow this one, bounce at around 4 o'clock. These two teams is the first meeting, actually, for 2019. Their last encounter was round 20 last year, where Essendon got the win pretty comfortably. But as we know, a lot can happen, a lot can change with the season and player movement and all of that sort of stuff. 5 wins in a row for Footscray heading into this one. They are building up some nice form. They thrashed Frankston last week. Essendon sitting on 12-3. They lost to Williamstown, but last week had a big win over Sandringham. And as I say, they've got a tough run home, so they need a win today, desperate for a win today to try and at least keep their hopes of having a home final alive. In terms of the team news, Lockie Young, the rookie for Footscray, not playing today, named in the team. Eden Sibbald coming into the Bombers side, wasn't named on Thursday night. Noah Gown, the Bombers listed player, to come out of the team that was selected on Thursday. But the team's into their huddles, the Bombers into their huddles. The Bulldogs have broken up from their huddle, and we won't be too far away from a start.
Good to see Irving Mosquito back out there as well. He's provided quite a few highlights on Hard Jackets, Totally Workwear, VFL Live. But Stoney, Noah Gown could be a crucial out. His marking ability is quite impressive and was on full display against Sandringham last week.
Yeah, it's interesting that Sibbald coming for the Essendon side. He's a marking forward, so it's interesting that
like for like,
which is quite interesting. And maybe they've looked at the teams and gone, we need someone with, I don't know, because Eden has got a lot of mobility and does get around, plays in different positions. So a bit of a selection, match-up and conditions possibly.
Tell you what, no excuses for not knowing what the score is, Stoney. That's the biggest font I've ever seen on a scoreboard.
That is sensational.
You know what?
Even for your poor eyesight.
You know what? I don't have to worry about my glasses today.
I love it though.
What, my glasses?
Better be, well, there's something.
Clark Kent. No? Okay.
I don't know what you change into, though. That's the problem.
Super Stoney.
All right, so the teams are getting into position, the 666. We won't be too far away from a start in this one. And crowd building up. There is the two teams playing in the AFL tonight down the road at Marvel Stadium. So a few fans will make their way in. Obviously, a lot have seen the weather forecast for this afternoon. A few made their way into the grandstands.
Here we go.
Round 19 at Whitten Oval. Hard Jacket Totally Workwear VFL Live. It is Footscray and Essendon.
So according to our man, boundary side Mark Stone, a 4-goal breeze to start this game in favour of the Bombers as Ham gets the clearance. Union wrapped up in the tackle. We're still inside the centre square for another ball up. Winner will be second on the table tonight. Umpire throws it up. Round 19 action. As Bauman can't get a clear kick away. Tynan was involved for the Bombers as well. Jock had the ball elude him. Eventually Long tries to clear forward. Hocking fumbled initially. Dogs finally get their hands on the footy. Roberts involved. The kick in toward the direction of Linjong with the hand pass. And the Dogs looking to work this out. Scott had the handball pass by him. We've got another stoppage still inside the square.
Michael Curtis, Peter Bales and Leighton Rowe are our field umpires for today. As the ball's tossed back up. That was nice body work from Jordan Sweet just to get his opposite number out of the way. And now pack forms in the middle of the ground and the umpire will call a stop to it eventually. No score as yet, a minute in.
You'd think that the Footscray team just want to try and stop a lot of stoppages, so scoring opportunities for Essendon side.
It was Sweet getting the ball down, but only as far as Ham, who hacked a kick up towards half forward for Essendon. But plenty of numbers for Footscray as Pruden, the skipper, kicks across the ground. And that's a nice mark taken by Riley West. Get a taste of AFL footy, but now back at VFL level, and he wanted to play on. He kicked into the player in front of him, who happened to be Heppel. Now Jong forced to lay the tackle on Sibbald, a late inclusion into the team today. But eventually the Bulldogs numbers will win out. Williams getting through a chain of handballs. It's a long ball by Lynch inside 50. The kick is excellent. The mark taken nicely by Vandermeer, who will have a shot at goal from about 47 metres out. So a fast start. We are expecting some rain throughout the afternoon as the kick is on the way. It's going across the face. It's not even going to make the distance. And defensive mark in the last line of defence to Bowman. Adam.
Laguda sends the ball straight down the throat. No mark paid there to Karmas. It goes out of play. Boundary throw in. Look clean from here. Bruno Laguda, one of the long-sleeved players out there today. There's a number of them.
Understandably so.
Each way. Feels like 7.7. The sun's actually breaking through at the moment, Stoney.
Yeah, you
feel it on your back?
Yeah, sun's on my back. Beautiful. Got my long sleeves on, so all good.
Throw-in's taking a little while to come in. Does now. Bauman wins the ruck contest against Sweet. Kick towards half forward. Not all that effective. Off the boot of Minot, and the Dogs can rebuild off half back through this broadcast side of the ground. West. Well, the ball just held up a little bit there. Tynan couldn't take the mark. West, the tackle on him. Ham comes in to help out. Out to Laguda. Hand pass misses Ham. John gets it back for the Bulldogs. Hand pass comes in. Porter goes a little backward lateral ball. Williams inside 50. No mark was taken by Vandermeer. Wallace looking to run onto it. Does get boots of ball. We're at the top of the square now. And the snap from Scott is good. It's a goal. So Hartley was in the marking contest. Got it to ground level, but at the right spot there was Scott. And the first goal of the game for the Bulldogs. 1 straight 6. Essendon yet to score.
See the Footscray team setting up really well behind the ball. The viewers and listeners will notice that Footscray always have a player, and Essendon have to lower their eyes a bit better because they keep just kicking it in the air and hoping the Breeze are going to do it. They're going to have players behind. And that was a really good result of some really good work down back, and Footscray setting up quite well.
Yep, the leading goal kicker for Footscray this season. That's his 17th for the season. We've got a good spread of goal kickers across the board. Do Footscray, and they're on the board first here. 1 straight 6 plays, no score. 4.5 minutes gone in this opening quarter. Hardyacker totally workwear. VFL live today. Sweet just caught out of the contest by Bowman as we've got another stalemate in the middle of the ground, and the umpire will throw the ball up.
The big and the small of it. Jordan Sweet and a little lesson right.
Which I'm sure that's how he prefers to be called too, Stoney. Is the kick coming forward here for Footscray up towards centre half forward. Just hacked out of there by Gleeson. Can't get away. And hard, tough stuff for the Bombers at the moment. Bowman had to lay the tackle in the end. And there's a swarm of Bulldogs around the footy. The kick going inside. Jock is going to eventually pick up this footy here. It's like a cake of soap at the moment. He's still quite damp conditions. He kicks into the player in front of him, who happened to be Gleeson, and they've turned the footy over. Here's Webb trying to go around the body, but plenty of Bomber numbers at the back. And it's just held up nicely. Hartley will take his time in the sort of semi-long sleeves, the 3 sort of quarter length. It ends up with Ham, who's still inside defensive 50 on our broadcast side, on the grandstand side. And he'll go a little bit further afield. The player, Sweet, trying to jump over the top, but the ball got over the top of him. Young taken out of the footy without possession. Umpire said no. It's still in Bulldogs' hands, though, as Drummond picks it up. He can't get clear. Eventually, they're just going to try and move it forward here. The Bombers, no one can get out of this contest, and the umpire eventually will call a halt to it. A bit like a rugby scrum, that. On the edge of the square. On centre wing, as the ball's thrown up again. Sweet this time getting the tap down, but only as far as Long for the Bombers, who goes with a long ball deep. Oh, beats the initial pack. Dangerous footy because Ridley is lurking. It's bowing all the way the line. It's touched through. So that's the first score for Essendon. It's a behind Footscray goal, 6.5 gone in this opening quarter. Here on Hard Yakka Totally Workwear, VFL Live today.
Bailey Williams runs out of the square, then kicks long into rect, and that's a very good mark taken by Jared Gleeson. Towards half forward, Long looking to cut it off, drop the mark though. Dogs retain possession, it comes back to Gleeson. Wobbling ball toward half forward, touched off the boot, so no mark was paid in the end. Holding the ball. A little unlucky there, the Bombers, and the free kick won by Riley West.
How much he look like his dad?
Yeah, I know.
There's a lot of dad in Riley. Inside 50 we go. Zerk Thatcher killed the contest off, got the fist. It was heading boundary side. Now to snap by Scott, the first goal kicker. He misses, 1-1-7. He's accounted for all of Footscray scoring so far. Anthony Scott, Essendon, 1 behind, 7 gone.
There's a really good video on the social media for the Bulldogs of Riley West being told that he will play his first game. If you get a chance to catch it with
speed,
Bevo, would be fantastic. Now he's Mosquito just getting on the end of this. There's a bit of a foot race going on. He picks up the footy now. He's dragged down in the tackle and going absolutely nowhere. And we will have it thrown up.
Yeah, Karmas with the tackle.
Yeah, Karmas versus Mosquito. And if we could get them loose on the wing and just let them go, just give them the whole wing to themselves, because I'd love to see the foot race each and every time as West trying to clear the ball up towards centre wing for the Bulldogs. First there is Long for the Bombers. He's dragged down the tackle. He goes straight for the boundary line. He's pinged for deliberate. Immediately throwing his hands up was Lockie Sullivan. And that's fair enough. Centre wing, out of side, the Doug Hawkins wing. Now grandstandless. The kick goes to Fletcher Roberts, who's going to go back to Camus, who will take his time and go to Young. Still inside defensive 50 for the Bombers. Thinking about the switch.
Hard kick this one because it's right into the teeth of the breeze.
So just goes for a run as the kick going long outside the 50. Speaking of Long, I think he's taken the mark. Yeah, he's going to be paid it. The traffic coming from Rourke Smith. He's been paid the mark. He gets the kick across to Jock. Jock kicks inside the 50. Ball coming off hands. Falls to the back. Young is there for the Bulldogs. They should be able to clear from here. Ball into the path of Porter, who's got some outliers too. Smith goes for a run along the Doug Hawkins wing. He's got outliers in support. Working there, Sullivan. They've got the overlap happening. Now the kick inside the 50 is excellent. Nice mark taken. And Williams should run into the open goal. He does. Great transfer of the footy by the Bulldogs, and they've got their second. 2-1-13 plays, 1 behind. 9 gone opening quarter here at Whitten Oval.
They're playing some really good football, the Footscray team. They're defending really well, getting back in numbers and helping supporting their midfield. But when the transition happens and the ball gets to the outside, the Footscray team, Essendon are asleep at the moment. They really have to pull their, out and really concentrate where their teammate is or where their opposition players are, because at the moment Essendon just running hard both ends of the ground.
That is goal number 13 for Ruben Williams this season. Talked about the potency that they've got up forward, the Bulldogs, in terms of goal kickers. 9 goals for Gleeson, 11 for Kavara. So
very good start against the breeze here for the Dogs. Interesting, they wanted to hug that boundary on the outer side, Stoney. Perhaps the home ground advantage, knowing how to deal with the breeze. Vandermeer, they're going for number 3. Vandermeer's kick is going to be across the face. It won't register a score. Takes a bounce, goes out of play. In front of Michael Hartley, boundary throw in.
The scary part is that Footscray is getting a lot of the ball on their own. It's really a concern, I reckon, for the Essendon team.
Getting plenty of run on the outside, finding space. Using the ball well by foot are the Bulldogs out at the moment. That's why they lead. Well, the only 2 goals that have been scored in this game. Both rucks went down, so the ball just bounces. Porter, Lynch, look out. Jock can't stick the tackle. In fact, it was Mosquito. It's now West. Ling Jong taken high by Sibold. Free kick going Jong's way. Too far out to score is Lin Jong. Mark at 55. Jong. It's a wobbly kick inside 50, but it works out because Wallace is there. And a shot on goal coming up for Footscray.
Gee, that really did drop, didn't it, Stoney?
The breeze is really strong. It doesn't seem up there, but it is really strong out here. And as typical of this ground, it's going to one end, and it's hard to kick into the teeth of that breeze. It
was smart from Wallace, though. You could see where the drop of the ball was coming, and it was dropping in short. Maybe a bit of home ground advantage there.
Leaning right here. The kick is straight. There's a bit of right to left, but it's straight enough. The fast start against the breeze for Footscray. 3-1-19. Essendon 0-1-1. Almost 12 gone opening term on hard jacket. Totally workwear VFL Live.
They're off in their game, and they're a dangerous side when they start running the Footscray team. There's no doubt about that. The selection's been really good. They've got some quick players on the outside. But in saying that, Essendon got a bit of a mosquito fleet, no pun intended there. But they got some very quick players in their team. So they want to get more about the ball. Hang on, there's a blood rule coming off.
Blood rule, yep. Who's coming off here?
We've got the Footscray player.
McComb.
Yep, McComb coming towards the bench. He seems to be the one most likely.
Yep.
Not sure exactly where he's bleeding from. But there's a bit of a discussion now on the bench as to who's actually going to replace him. Got a little bit on the hop. And so Rourke Smith says, I'll do it.
Formation they've got to figure out, so he's got to run back inside that forward 50.
What's the issue with McComb?
Back of the knee, there's a bit of a cut.
Okay. So it means, because we're back in the middle, we go 6-6-6, so they need to reorganise themselves here. The Bulldogs are now all sorted. As the ball gets tossed up in the middle of the ground. And there's a free kick immediately too high. A chance now for the Bombers to press forward. Smith, who's going to go across the ground into the path here of Dixon, but the boundary line wins out. They just are not clicking at the moment, the Bombers, when they do have the footy.
He should have sent that one, just as I'm the armchair expert, they should have sent that long in the forward line quickly to give their small crummers a chance off the pack rather than going sideways possibly.
So the ball to be thrown back in. Eventually, the boundary umpire taking plenty of time on that side. And it is a very short throw in, so Bowman had the front position there. Chance for the Bombers to get clear. No, Hocking brought down the tackle. It is holding the footy, and they are away, you would think. William held up in the middle of Whitten Oval. Magnificent ground this. And he goes short. Opportunities few and far between for Riley West, so he kicks inside the 50. The ball off the initial pack. The tackle being laid by Mosquito. He's just trying to get himself in there. No one can get clear of the contest. Now it's Jong having to do the heavy lifting. Good to see him back playing footy again as well. We'll have the ball thrown up on 50 for Footscray. 3-1-19, plays one behind. As the Rucks do the usual nominating act, and Gleeson just bumped off the contest in the end. It's just hacked forward for the Bombers into the middle of the ground. Sibbald trying to get to the fall of it. Can't do so. Second, third effort, but there's a holding free kick coming back the other way. And we'll go to Josh Pruden in the middle of the ground, who will try and set the Bulldogs going forward. They've had all the possession in this opening term.
Fletcher Roberts at left half forward. He sends in his inside 50, and Ruben William unmanned takes the mark.
And that's the issue right there, Adam, is that the unmanned Footscray players and getting too much space. Fletcher Roberts put that on the left boot, and there was a player standing by himself about 15 metres away from an opponent. So that's got to try and tighten up that.
It was on the run, but it was this pocket where Ruben William went on to kick his first goal of the day. So to establish an early 24-point lead. Kicks on the way, and it's straight. 4-1-25 Footscray. Essendon 0-1-1. 15 gone opening term. And the temperature's gone up 1 degree, Stoney. We're up to 11.
I can't feel it, so it's all good. Just with that, I mean, if you were a coach now, you'd want to get your players together. Some leadership happens out there and go, come on, boys, we really have to pick our work ethic and momentum up and try and pick up a man and go one-on-one or man-on-man and just try and get some football. Contested ball, I'd like to see the numbers right now because Footscray are winning that, I reckon, hands down.
Oh, yeah. And they've just dominated the possession, haven't they, too?
Absolutely.
In this opening 15 and a half minutes in this opening term. So the ball back in the middle. Now Essendon going to respond because it's been all Bulldogs so far. Well, back in the middle, doing the ruck work back into the ruck is Jordan Sweet. But it goes up towards half forward here for the Bombers, but it's going to come straight back out. It's rolling towards centre wing. First to the footy is Sullivan. He's got a handball over the top, but it was dangerous and it goes over and we will have it thrown in. As Anthony Scott gets to his feet and
city skyline over the back there. Beautiful.
It is magnificent as the ball's tossed back in. Bowman and Sweet getting the tap down in the end. Smith just trying to paddle it in front of him, can't do so. We are on the Doug Hawkins wing on that outer side. Yeah, it was a good pick-up. Camus was the player. First and second effort, superb. Oh, that's fantastic from the young player as again the ball like a cake of soap. Someone picks it up immediately. They're tackled. Hocking now trying to do the shepherding work. Eventually it's cleared. Inside 50 for Essendon we go, but it's going to be turned over.
4-on-1.
It was 4-on-1. As soon as that footy went in, they had the numbers. Fletcher Roberts, hasn't he been the mainstay for this team over the journey? His kick across the ground to Young. Overcast conditions, lights on here at Whitten Oval. His kick going long up the line. Not finding anyone in particular, but there's going to be an over-the-shoulder free kick. Getting over the top there was Ridley. And so the free kick eventually will come back to Nathan Drummond.
Former Tiger.
Former Tiger. Yeah, you beat me to it, Stoney. His kick goes short to Sullivan.
Former bushranger too, Pete, because I tried to recruit him too, but before he did his move.
Mark Stone, everyone, the man who single-handedly brought Ben Brown out of Tasmania. Doesn't mind dining out on that story too. Young kicks across the ground, finding Roberts. So they've done the switch. They've moved from the broadcast side to the Doug Hawkins wing. Still at half back. Camus there, he just tried to pick it up on the half volley, couldn't do so. Now the handball into the middle of the ground. Ham picks it up. Still got some numbers. Hartley works it around. Minot in there as well. Now they've got an opportunity as the ball going long. Inside 50 deep. Mark not taken. It is off hands. It's going to be held up. It's Jock waiting for the free kick to come. It wasn't going to happen. And everyone will pick themselves up. We will have it thrown up deep into attack here for the Bombers. Trying to get a goal on the board. Drummond was at the bottom of the pack for the Bulldogs. So Young, in front position, working with Sibbald in the ruck. Oh, good bumping contest there. Smith coming forward for the Bombers. Still managed to win the footy though. Essendon kick up to the top of the goal square. It's going to be cut off and just clearing the area, or trying to clear the area there was McComb. Couldn't do so. Good tackling pressure. No, a little bit high. The umpires come flying in, bit of push and shove as well, right in the forward pocket for the Bombers. And it'll be Nino to take the free kick. Nino Lazaro, who's on the tightest of tight angles. Now the difference is, normally if you go back, it'd be near the fence, but because there's plenty of space here at Whitten Oval, he's got plenty of field to work with. He's about 10 metres away from the behind post. He wheels around. No, he's gone way across the face of goal. It's out of bounds on the full. A free kick to Footscray in the last line of defence. 4-1-25 plays one behind, 19 gone, first quarter.
Fresh footy for Fletcher Roberts as well. Out of the bag. Comes off his line. There was no one really standing the mark. It's not a great kick. Heppel picks it off for the Bombers. Too far out to score though. The Essendon captain. Inside 50 he goes. And the big fist over the top there to kill it off by Lewis Young. Boundary throw in.
Just got to really try and keep this ball inside their forward 50, the Essendon side, so they get a few looks at goal and a few opportunist goals. We've seen Eden Sippard get pushed on the ball there before. Where's Mosquito? Is he around the pack? The little blokes, and try and snap a goal. They need it right now.
So the Bombers find themselves 4 goals down. We'll have the throw-in recalled.
Yeah, got away from the two ruckmen. They didn't have any chance to get at that one.
I don't like to be too critical, but I'm not sure that boundary umpire is having the best day so far. There was another one that almost fell short earlier in the quarter.
Tough conditions.
That's why I don't want to be too critical. Peter, throw in. Here's Ridley, just lost his footing there, slipped over, held on to it, eventually the hand pass option presented. It was Heppel, but his kick toward the top of the square is marked by Sullivan. And that kick needs to be precise. It is. Mark taken by Jong. Still inside defensive 50 are the Dogs. Lin Jong. The kick's almost going to reach centre wing. Harley was working on William. It's going to go out of play. Boundary throw in is ricocheted off the boot of Drummond.
How many changes do the Bulldogs make there, Stoney?
5.
Amazing. That's the opportunity.
Guevara's waiting to come on. I think it was 4 actually.
Like a tag in wrestling, that was.
As soon as the opportunity presented itself down that side.
The Bombers took advantage of that as well. It's a great tap by Sweet to Webb. They're trying to work this out. Gowers wrapped up. Good tackle, Tynan. Holding the ball. Free kick for the Bombers. They are starting to lift a little bit here, Essendon, and match the intensity that Footscray brought to the table early, but they haven't put it onto the scoreboard. Tynan's kick. No mark was taken. Sibbald was the man that went up for Essendon. Now wrapped up, Tynan Smith. Had a long time. It was very impressive in his second game last week as the 23rd man for the Bombers against Sandringham. His previous game was also against Sandringham. I thought he might have been the Zebras specialist, but he's kept his spot today. Webb, hand pass inboard. Scott, it was overcooked for him. Minot sends Essendon back inside 50. Smith is that man trying to read it in flight, almost brought it down, had Prudham working on him. It slips out of play, boundary throw in, left forward pocket. The Bombers have it inside 50, but they need to get their first goal of the game.
If you're concerned at the 22-minute mark, haven't got a goal. And
is the breeze still strong?
Breeze, yeah, 4-goal breeze.
Yeah, as the ball's tossed back in. And it's Sibbald doing the ruck work. Lazaro just going without it for the Bombers. The ball eventually spills free. Jock gets the handball out. Now they've got an opportunity. Long can get onto it. Can they get their first here? No. Another behind. 2 behinds Essendon. 4-1-25 Footscray. 22 and a half gone in this opening quarter. Ball back in quickly. Webb gets on the end of it, takes the mark. Still in the back pocket, runs off. Now kicks deep outside the 50, looking for Smith. Yep, one grab and the second. Nicely done. Under pressure. Rock Smith, half back. He'll go back across the ground. Find Young. He goes over the top by hand to Lynch, who runs into all sorts of trouble. It's holding the footy. Turn over to the Bombers. Nino Lazaro, great tackle. And he will have the shot at goal and line up from 45 metres out, pretty much directly in front. He gets back quickly. As everyone just told to the umpire, just clearing the area. Lazaro, 6 goals in his 11 games so far this season. Steps inside the 50. The kick on the way is there. They do have their first, the Bombers. 1-2-8. Footscray, though, the fastest start. 4-1-25, 23 and a half gone in the opening quarter. Here at VU Whitten Oval. Hardiaca Totally Workwear, VFL Live, and looking forward to the run to the finals.
It's not long now, boys. You can smell it in the air.
Good start for Lucas Webb. 9 touches for him. Fletcher Robertson, Lewis Young both have 7. Braden Ham, the leading Bomber, on the ground with 6.
And it's the reason why that Essendon got that goal is because they're starting to be competitive. They're starting to get a lot of the ball on the ground, and you need to, even the contest 50-50 to get give you small men, and it is a small men's day today because it's very breezy out here. But they need that one, especially at this point of the quarter.
So we have a 17-point ball game in favour of the Bulldogs. Umpire throws it up. Heppel ducks underneath the Gowers tackle and releases Union by hand. Danny Union having a great season, wobbling ball inside 50. You can see it again carrying the breeze despite the fact he didn't get good purchase. Dogs trying to work this out by hand. Hand pass was missed, had to go back and fetch there, did Porter. Now McComb. Hand pass further wide, eventually reaches Williams. His kick toward Kavara. Maybe the wind carried it away from him, took a bounce. Goes out of play, boundary throw in.
Remember the old stand out there, Stoney, the Doug Hawkins wing?
Yes, I do.
Is there a stand here?
Yeah,
standing room.
And it was actually a
was sheltered,
bit of a
sort of.
media pigeon post, when the tall. The coaches used to go out there, didn't they, and coach from up there? I remember Mickey Monas maybe being over there.
This is all well before my time. Boundary throw in. Sweet. Missed it in the ruck contest, as did Bowman.
And the thing there that you notice, if you're watching on VFL.com.au, is, the short space that's there too. It's really hard to... You wonder how they fit so many people in here back in the day.
Kavara, left foot ball, goes over the head. Now Vandermeer trying to pick up the bouncing ball. Had to lay the tackle instead. Laguda has ditched the long sleeve. Bruno Laguda. Webb. It's a high ball. Might have been touched off the boot. It was never going to be marked. Wallace had it ripped away from him. Eventually Dixon gets his kick, and it's a good mark. Taken by Riley Bowman on the outer wing. The old Doug Hawkins wing. Bowman chips over the top for Unit. Some of the VFL listed players combining here for the Bombers. Danny Noonan having a very good season, averaging 17 touches per game. 15 goals, 14 in front of the sticks as well. Penetrating ball inside 50, comes off hands, goes out of bounds. Boundary throw in. Houlihan lost his footing in the marking contest.
We know how important those VFL listed players become when you're sort of talking about AFL ladder positions and the like. Obviously Essendon inside the top 8. Bulldogs chance of making finals as well.
So the Bombers are going to go long and deep inside 50, but the wind just kept carrying it. No chance. Nino Lazaro out of bounds on the full.
So the point of just to finish off on that point was that while there's movement happening at the AFL level and a lot of that talent, if you get hit by injuries, goes up, you rely on the core group of your VFL players to carry you through the final series, and there's a lot of experience on both lists here this afternoon.
So David Myers get 39 touches last week for the Bombers at VFL level, and that earned him a call up. Quite a few changes for the Bombers at AFL level this week that has filtered down, as you said, Peter. So it's gone out of bounds on the full. Aaron Heppel claims the free kick for the Bombers. The drop punt inside 50. Lazaro just slipped through his hands. It might have just been a little too hot for him in the end. Ball cleared out. It was the dump kick by Wallace. Now Scott trying to juggle the ball, needs some help. It's provided by Sullivan. Jong wrapped up by Mosquito. Union comes in to help. 4 Bombers ended up tackling Lin Jong. A ball up inside the centre circles.
Fascinates me with modern football now. The players know, without even looking, as a player going to be beside them. They just look away handballs. Some come off, some don't. But when it works, it looks fantastic.
Yeah, we just saw Haggard there getting into the mix. He's the 23rd player for Essendon today. Meanwhile, Bulldogs taking the ball away. It's Lynch kicking up towards the 50, but it's going to be turned over, and Braden Zerk-Thatcher takes the mark. He's at half back. He's on the Doug Hawkins wing side of the ground, the outer side. His kick going long. Roberts was just pushed out of the contest by Lazaro and should take the free kick, and does. So Fletcher Roberts just holding play up. 13 games this season at this level for Fletcher Roberts. And his kick going long up towards half forward, or Zerk-Thatcher through. Also did Haggard. Fell to Sweet. He lost a handle on it, but it's still got the numbers here. Oh no, throw. The umpire's picked out a throw. And Wallace was the player, I think, that threw it out. There's a bit of push and shove going on as well. Ben Long wants the ball back. Oh, Jake Long, I should say, not Ben Long. Jake Long wants the footy back. A little trouble extracting it. Laguda to take the free kick. Inside defensive 50. The Bombers, he kicks short, and that's okay. Jock takes the mark. Only spent some time at the Pies, and that's where we got to know him. That kick good up towards centre wing. And the Bombers will lock and load again. Finding some space on this side. The skipper, Heppel, in his kick, those being cut off, and Lewis Young on the end of it takes the defensive mark on defensive 50 for Footscray. 29.5 minutes gone in this opening quarter. 4-1-25 plays 1-2-8. The Bulldogs leading if you're just joining us on SEN and VFL.com.au as Jock doing the heavy lifting on the deck here, trying to get it to his skipper, who can't control the footy, goes over the line. We will have it thrown in. First match of a double-header this afternoon. We'll be here for the Swiss Wellness VFL women's game, which will get underway at 4 o'clock.
In that case, I think we've peaked at 11 degrees, Peter. Enjoy the next 7 quarters of footy. Doesn't get much better for me, don't worry about that. So the Dogs have it across half-back here. The switch for Young. And the next man in the chain is Robbie McComb. Right half-back for Footscray. McComb, another long-sleeved Bulldog is his target. It's Jong. Takes the mark and the chip toward 50. He's looking for Lucas Webb. Zerk Thatcher won it back for the Bombers. Bad handball though, turned over. Jong, the chip for the pocket. It's come off the shin of Anthony Scott and gone out of play. Boundary throw-in. As we approach quarter time, we're beyond 30 minutes now in this opening term. Sybil comes on for Lazaro. Right forward pocket. Dogs kicked 4 goals, Bombers 1. And we think the scoring end is the one that the Bombers are using in this opening term. Porter gets the kick inside 50. Might have been touched off the boot. And that's why the marking attempt was not present there for Ben Huggett. It is quarter time at the VU Whitten Oval. Footscray 4-1-25 in the battle for second spot on the ladder. Essendon 1-2-8.
Goal kickers to quarter time. 2 for Ruben William, 1 for Anthony Scott, 1 for Josh Wallace. And for the Bombers, Nino Lazaro, the solitary goal kicker for them. 4-1-25 Footscray, Essendon 1-2-8. We'll take a break. If you're watching the video stream, you're seeing highlights of the opening quarter. We'll take a break, get inside the huddles as well with Stoney, and into the second quarter with the Bulldogs with the breeze. But can the Bombers fight back? Find out. This is Hard Yakka Totally Workwear, VFL Live.
Nature's an amazing place. It's a perfect balancing act, thriving with life. Some of which we don't even see. Like the billions of microorganisms that help keep nature in balance. At Swiss, the quest continues.
At Totally Workwear, we kit out the brickies, the chippies, the foremen, the tradies. Did we say foremen? They're not all men, some are ladies. Yeah. Work in an office, retail, healthcare, hospitality? Here's where you'll find all your workwear. Yeah, totally. Totally Workwear have got you covered with the best brands, best value and best service. Totally Workwear. Get what you want and get back to work.
For club interviews and all the news from the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL and Swiss Wellness VFL Women's, don't miss the VFL Hour during the Sporting Capital with Jack Heverin, Tuesdays from 9 p.m. on 1116 SEN.
But it's your job. You'll be fine.
Mate, just because everybody seems like they're doing it doesn't actually mean that they are doing it.
Help your kids understand that betting and sport don't have to go together.
The ads don't always tell you the risks, yeah?
Before you have the talk, check lovethegame.vic.gov.au. Authorised by VRGF Melbourne.
Don't miss a moment of the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL. Find SEN2 on your digital radio today for live coverage of the match of the round. The Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL, live on SEN2 DAB+.
I'm a digital radio. To help explain why it's time to update your old radio, with me is my friend Digital TV.
Hi.
Where you go?
Remember when us TVs went digital?
Everyone does. Get to the point.
Suddenly you got lots more channels for free.
Yes.
Well, it's the same with digital radio.
When you buy a digital radio, you can get all your favourite stations plus up to 30 extra ones, playing all kinds of music, live sport and talk.
That's pretty great.
It's really great.
All you have to do is head into your nearest retailer
or check out digitalradioplus.com.au
and upgrade to digital.
Your Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL Club needs you to show your support. Buying a VFL Club membership helps support your local team and provides great discounts and match access. The VFL gives you the chance to get in the coaches' huddle and enjoy kick-to-kick on the field, whilst kids under 15 get in free. Get involved in the VFL this season. Head to vfl.com.au/membership to find out what membership offers are available at your club in 2019.
Love your sport? then you'll love SEN.
Stuart Appleby has come from 7 strokes behind.
And you'll find it on digital radio. Simply scroll to SEN, Melbourne's home of sport.
Streaming live through VFL.com.au. This is VFL Live.
Where it is quarter time here at VU Whitten Oval, and it is Footscray 4-1-25 leading Essendon 1-2-8. Ben Mercado, Adam Saracoglu and Mark Stone with you this afternoon in the run to the finals, and really looking forward to the finals action. We will have it for you live here on our stream, which will be through SEN. We've moved to audio stream mode once we hit the finals, but let's go through some of the numbers, Adam, to quarter time, please.
Let's start for the Dogs as they lead this 4-1-25. Essendon 1-2-8, 10 disposals each for Cal Porter and Lucas Webb, 9 each for Roberts and Young, 8 for Josh Wallace, the leading ball getter of the VFL listed Bulldogs. For the Bombers, it is Aaron Heppel, the captain, who has 9 to start this game. A tackle as well, 2 marks for the skipper. Braden Ham has 6, 5 for Minot and 4 for Jake Long.
All right, they are the leading possession winners as the Bombers huddle breaks up. Dan Jordan will be catching up with Stoney in just a few moments. Stoney, to you.
Dan, you're in the coach's box your first 15 minutes and you just can't get your hand on the ball. What are you saying in the box, and what do you say to the boys here at quarter time?
I haven't been in the box, mate. I've been down on the bench. And from down on the bench, we were pretty poor in that first 15 minutes in terms of our work rate and our transition to get out of stoppages. We were outworked. So disappointingly so, but a lot of footy left in this game. So hopefully we can fix that up and get the game more of on an even keel, which I thought it did in the last 10 minutes or so.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, mate.
No worries.
Thank you, Stoney.
Bad observation by me. He was standing on the bench, but anyway, it's all good.
You need your glasses.
I do. I've got them on now.
Blinded by the scoreboard.
We'll bring you around the ground scores too as this second quarter is about to get underway, because plenty of other matches happening. Yaka Totally Workwear VFL style today in round 19. We'll bring you scores from Werribee and Box Hill, Williamstown and Coburg, and also Port Melbourne and Frankston. Plenty of finals implications for each of the 3 games this afternoon.
A couple of standalone clashes there as well.
So. Yes, which is good to see.
5 standalone teams in action from 2 o'clock, Stoney.
Just interesting that he was really animated, Dan, in that huddle, and obviously I was disappointed in the work ethic of the players, and just asked them, you got to even the contest, boys. We've got to get back in the contest.
All right, second quarter getting underway. Umpire throwing the ball up at him.
That's the umpire, Michael Curtis, in the number 4 shirt as Heppel, Hocking. Gets the ball towards half forward. Karmas was under pressure from Jock, got the hand pass out. Williams, a high ball, doesn't go that far. Gowers couldn't mark. Minot tries to set up a man inside 50, but it's cut off by Karmas, who has been good so far today. The intended target was Jacob Brown for the Bombers. Sun breaks out once more over the VU Whitten Oval.
It's beautiful too.
Jong, a great grand final in 2016 in that win over Casey. Wasn't a great kick that time. Hartley goes out wide. Bauman takes the mark for the Bombers. Long way from home though. Inside 50 we go. Union the target. We know the Dogs scored quickly. The Bombers might do that at the start of this second quarter. The Dogs started the first quarter really well, but no space to work with. Roberts' kick, he's met by Sibbald. Hand pass off. Tynan, he's wrapped up by Jong. And the ball went out of play at some point in that sequence. Boundary throw-in.
Sunshine, suntan. Maybe not.
Ball thrown back in. I would say that'd be more on the unlikely list than likely. As it's been picked up here, the Bulldogs. Williams getting hands to it yet again, but the ball's been turned over. A chance for the Bombers. They hit centre half forward through hands. Sibbald gets it away and working his ham. Shot a goal wide. 1-3-9. Plays 4-1-25. Footscray leading. 2 minutes gone in this second quarter. Jacket Totally Workwear VFL live today. Bailey Williams kicks to himself and just ran out of the defensive goal square, and his kick got plenty of purchase too. It's now into the middle of the ground without anyone touching it. It's right on centre wing. Tynan gets the handball away, looking for Hartley. Ball taken away from him by Wallace, and we'll have it thrown in right on the true centre wing position on that outer side, which is where most of the play has been this afternoon.
Defensive side over there, so the players can take it out and set up stoppages and ruck formations and all those things.
Just forward of true centre wing here for Footscray. Hawking sees it go out of play. Gow is asking a deliberate out of bounds question that goes unheard.
Already in the second quarter, you can see the intensity of Essendon has picked up. There's a bit of urgency, more urgency around the ball.
3 minutes in, no change to quarter time score. Umpire throws it in. Another one that eluded both rucks as the wind just carried it. Jong, hand pass out. Scott, further on for Kavara. Ben Kavara, the former Seagull, inside 50. Williams have got a 2-on-1 to deal with here. Jock fisted toward the line. Porter kept it in. At least he thought he did. Goes out of play. Boundary throw in. Right full pocket for Footscray. Currently leading this game by 16 points. Toward the Barclay Street end in the second term. It was a 4-goal breeze at the start of the game, according to our man Stoney. But the Bombers did not take much advantage of it. Apple's going to be forced out of play here. Another throw in the same spot.
You know that old saying, the breeze aren't going to do it for you. You've got to work as hard as well with or against the breeze. And
you've got to execute, Stoney.
Execute, good word.
So from the throw in, Jong eludes the tackler. Webb had it just zip past him in the end and he couldn't get a shot away. Another ball up as Aaron Heppel gets put into the turf. One more and it's all yours, Peter Mercado. Bauman down to Heppel. We do have that clearance now, but there's again a lot of congestion around this ball. Lazaro has Roberts working hard on him. He was almost 360'd in the tackle, but did get a half kick away in the end. Good tackle laid there by Tynan Smith. It's tracking boundary side. Houlihan, it's a hard ball to win at the moment. Jong, can they find some space? They can now through Gow as the Dogs. We go inside 50. Ball just skidded through to Tynan there for the Bombers. Hand pass off. Long had some pressure coming. Lost the footy in the process. It's on ground level. Is there high contact on Hocking? Umpire says no. Tynan, Heppel. It's a very, very hard ball to win right now. Tom Jock's wrapped up in the tackle by Webb. We've got a ball up inside 50 for Footscray.
Yeah, hard and tough stuff. That's what we're expecting this afternoon, particularly with the weather, but the rain has held off. Intermittent rain, plenty of rain though, past 24 hours, and it's been cold as well as we battle the last of the winter. Spring just around the corner, held up. Porter for the Bulldogs, and we'll have it thrown up again. Jeez, Bowman was taken out of the contest. It falls to Jong, who's trying to bring the ball back, and not enough. Through for a behind. 4-2-26, playing 1-3-9. Just the two behinds in this quarter, which is 5.5 minutes old. The second quarter here on Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL Live. Hartley just goes out of the defensive goal square and just throws it on the boot. It is a good kick. Stoney Laguda takes the mark. He's looking for players on that Doug Hawkins wing, that outer side, who've got a bit of space. As Sybil just pushed Young out of the contest, not called by the umpire. It's right near the boundary line, but it's going to stay in. Bit of don't argue work from Sybil's second, third efforts, but he's coughed up the footy. Riley West got the handball out. Chance here for the Bulldogs. Jong through his hands. He might get the receive again. Scott was just paddling it forward. Now he's got a couple of players to get through, and one of them was Tynan, who picked up the ball for the Bombers but put it straight out of bounds on the full. So the error coming from Essendon. And it'll be Fletcher Roberts to bring the ball back in. He goes to Young, who's on centre wing, who's looking around, can't find an option. All on his own is Williams at the moment. That's going to be ignored. Instead, he goes up towards half forward, right near the boundary line, finds Fletcher Roberts. He's not adverse to a long kick with the breeze, decides not to pull the trigger, he just goes short. And finds Wallace, who's inside the 50, but right near the boundary line. Kick from about where the 50 and the boundary line intersect. Try and get himself a bit of a better angle, but it's kickable.
This is where they practice, when they have practice nights and have shots at golf from a difficult angle. It's a really difficult angle out there.
As Wallace steps to the 50, gets very close to the man on the mark, gives it plenty of elevation. It won't get the distance. It's off hands on to goal. Oh, I think it's a goal off the pack.
Little bloke, Kavara.
It's Kavara. And he's got his first. Right place, right time, and good awareness as well. Oh, we love Benny Cavara on our coverage. 5-2-32 Footscray, 1-3-9 Essendon. 7.5 gone in this second quarter.
If we've got a tracking of that or a video recording of
we
that,
do.
The ball comes to the back. You see Ben Cavara run from the front of the pack to the back of the pack, knew where the ball was going to go. That's a great Rovers goal, and well done, Benny Cavara.
We're just seeing it on the replay now, Stoney. Beautifully called too. And that's what he can do. That's a talent this player has, and it's great to see him on an AFL list. Just good awareness too, just to follow that ball in. Got himself into the front position and took it off the pack nicely.
Yep. Not much space, kick the goal.
So as they did in the first quarter, the Dogs strike first blood here in the second. We're back live in the middle. Bombers need to get a move on now. Ham's kick is a very high one, so it holds up in the breeze, and that's a very, very good defensive mark taken by Prudent. Hand pass off. Bailey Williams goes towards half forward. Sullivan might have been nudged there by D. Just kept carrying and went out of play. Boundary throw in. Right where the 50 meets the boundary line here. Dogs looking good today. They win. It will be their 6th in a row. They'll be second on the ladder. Last loss came against Collingwood. Boundary throw in. As we said pre-game, Peter, it's a fairly kind run home for the Dogs. North Melbourne and Coburg to round out their home and away season. It's much harder for the Bombers with top of the table Richmond and Geelong to come in their run home. Suns out once more as the ball heads for the top of the square. William was a bit out of position as he jumped for the ball. Zerk Thatcher's gone into the deck. He got hurt a little bit last week against Sandringham as well. Did Brandon Zerk Thatcher.
Good name too, I reckon.
He has won the free kick, but he is limping as he gets up.
Doesn't look too good, actually.
Does want to take his kick, though, Zerk Thatcher. Just trying to iron out the kink in his right knee. Looks a little proppy. Does get his kick away. It does clear D50, but
he can't
off
move.
Hands now to bounce. Boundary throw in. A trainer or two are making their way out now.
He still wants to stay on the ground, it looks like, but he's just hobbling back there. You're going to try and just run it out.
Groin issue, some sort of groin or hip issue.
Yeah, he's stretching it out now and just bouncing around back there, so I think he probably will be okay.
23-point ball game in favour of Footscray. Boundary throw in. Bauman wins the ruck contest against Sweet. It's on ground level. Jong working hard. Eventually it does spit out and it's in the hands of Union. Goes boundary side towards half forward. Ridley bounced in front of him. Can go for a run. Now here's Irving Mosquito. Loves to go for a dash. The left foot ball off the side of the boot though. Good pressure coming his way. Couldn't fire a decent shot. And the Dogs will get the ball back last line of defence.
Imagine if him and Tip and Woody play together. What pretty exciting stuff, I reckon.
When? I think it'll be more the question. When will that happen?
Yeah.
Not for a little while, you'd say. It's young. Last line of defence for Footscray. Just controlling things of the Bulldogs, but the kick's going to be turned over. Hartley takes the mark. Kick shallow inside the 50. And the mark is going to be paid. Hands up for Ham. Now this could be a tricky kick with the breeze. He'll be just on the paint of 50. He's looking around, assessing options. So he's just going to go top of the goal square. The kick is high, the kick is long. Ridley got hands to a quick kick out of the pack's a goal. It's Lance who's kicked it. First for the afternoon. And that's an important one for the Bombers. 5-2-32 plays 2-3-15. Jacker Totally Workwear VFL Live. We've played 11 minutes in this second quarter.
Just interesting, Nathan Drummond's just come off the ground, boys, and he's just a doctor and a physio. So, yeah, he's not looking too good, actually. So we'll just see what happens here.
All right, well, keep an eye on that, Stoney.
Might get some work. Lin Jong working into the game nicely. 12 touches now. Fletcher Roberts has 12 as well. Aaron Heppel still leading the way for the Bombers. It's that same number again, 12 touches. So we're back in the middle. Dons get their second. Umpire throws it up back in the middle. Bauman's had a good day in the ruck so far. Gets his own clearance as well. Bouncing ball at half forward. Karma sockers toward the boundary line. Cavara kicked a great goal earlier in the quarter. This time he's just scored out of play by Houlihan. Right, half forward for the Bombers. Footscray, 5-2-32. Essendon, 2-3-15 on Hard Jacket. Totally Workwear VFL Live. The winner will be second on the ladder. And if you finish in the top two, you get a home qualifying final at the venue of your choice. Here's West. There's a Bomber in back play that's gone down. Couldn't apply any pressure on Wiley West. Eventually comes out to Kavara towards half forward. Gow was the target. Does well. Gow's kept the ball in front of him, but then ran into trouble. Eventually was dispossessed. Sullivan put into the deck as well. Solid tackle laid there by Jacob Brown. Umpire crosses his arms not far away from interchange gates.
Brutal game. This.
Mark Stone.
Brutal game, I tell you. Brutal game. Just the tackling and the fierce pressure and the speed of the game is incredible.
Suns out once more over to VU Witten Oval. Gleeson into the ruck here for the Dogs. Vandermeer. Something's happened before Vandermeer got the ball. Advantage paid. Scott, the high left foot ball. Williams in position A and reads it well in flight. Takes the mark right forward pocket. Kicked 2 goals in the opening term. Has 14 for the season as Ruben William. With the breeze, it should be an easy kick, Stoney.
Should be for a player that quality.
Does the job. 6-2-38 Footscray. Essendon 2-3-15 on Hard Jacket. Totally Workwear VFL Live. Almost 14 gone second term.
Yeah, good result. Just really, just intensity of the ball in the right spot there. Took a mark and a good goal, especially with the breeze here. Good buffer.
Yeah, handy one too. Making the most of the conditions. With the radar at the moment for you, Stoney, looking okay in terms of the...
If I look over my right shoulder, Pierre,
yep,
there's a bit of blue sky. All we need that to come over so my hands can warm up a bit.
Not going to happen. So, ball back in the middle. We might get a little bit of rain later on in the afternoon. Remember, they've got the Swiss Wellness VFL Women's game to come. We've got a double header for you today on SEN2 and also VFL.com.au. But back in the middle here, and get another stalemate from the ruck contest. The umpire will come in and throw the ball up.
Essendon are playing a whole lot better. They getting their hands on the ball a lot more. So they'll be saying, okay, this figure now, they get another goal, a couple of goals before half time. It's probably an even contest.
So again, no one can really break clear of this. Trying his best here as Gleeson can't do so. The umpire will throw the ball up. We talked about contested possessions in the opening quarter. Stoney. Bulldogs ranking 3rd in the VFL for average contested possessions, 6 more per game than the Bombers, who do okay going the other way. Uncontested possessions, as again we've got another start. We really haven't moved at all from the centre circles. We're about a couple of metres away from the centre circles. Just attacking side for the Bombers, who trail in this one. Ball ends up in the hands of Porter, who just tacks it onto the boot. He's under a bit of pressure and Long takes the mark. Into the square, defensive side. He goes in a bit shorter. And this is how they're going to have to build up the Bombers and just take a little bit of time just to work this out, as the kick there from Dixon. Get into the pack of players. Sybil just held out. There's a bit of holding going on. It's going to go to the Bulldogs, a free kick. Lynch goes short. That's okay. Finds Young. Centre half back. Got options on the broadcast side. One of them Sullivan. That's where the kick's going to end up. No, it's going to be cut off and the Bombers are away. The kick needed to be precise. It wasn't. Oh, Bowman, it was a bit of a hospital sort of handball. It heads towards the boundary line. In fact, it wasn't Bowman. What am I saying? It's Houlihan. And it was a dangerous handball. And it eventually goes over the line. We will have it thrown in. Just into attack here for the Bombers, trailing 6-2-38 to 2-3-15. 16 and a half gone.
Tom Jock's a big boy. I'm just standing alongside him. He's 6'3", 6'4" in the old age. He's a big boy.
Yep, and he's got a leap on him too, as we saw when he was playing at Collingwood as a 23rd player. Push out from the ruck contest. Free kick Bombers. Smith to take it. Tynan Smith. We'll put the Bombers inside 50. A few players shielding their eyes from the sun. Didn't think I'd be saying that today. It's Pruden trying to battle his way through. He's brought down the tackle by Mosquito. Still managed to get the footy away. Ball near the line. Smith again and just wrapped up. The ball spilling free and going over the line. We'll have it thrown in where the 50 and the boundary line intersect here for Essendon. They need a goal. 17 into the second. They trail 38 to 15.
It's a margin of 23 points in favour of the Bulldogs. Umpire brings this in. Again, it falls short. Jock almost met it. Receives the handball. Hand pass off. Now Unit. Did he have the ball? Pruden did bring him to ground. Now Pruden. Unit returns the favour. Lays the tackle on him. Again, a hard ball to extract, but eventually it was. Dixon. Kick smothered. Stays in play. Hartley's underneath this one for Essendon. Dropped the mark as the pressure came from Gleeson. Does get it back though. It's a high ball that's going to land in the goal square here. Sweet looking for the line. Gets it. Tom Jock wants to deliver it out of bounds. Won't get it. Boundary throw in next to the behind post.
Just got no room to move inside 50, the Bombers.
All the players in defensive 50 right now.
Well, yeah, no player forward of centre for the Bulldogs.
Need the next goal desperately, the Bombers here. In a low-scoring affair.
Off to the races.
Young's ball. It's almost a barrel. And there's plenty of space out here. Zerk Thatcher, that last bounce didn't favour him. Tried to tap it on towards Heinen. Jock now. He'll escape Webb. Gets his kick towards half forward. Not a great one. Oh, it was a mongrel. The bounce didn't favour Young.
In the back.
Yeah, Sibbald pushed in the back.
Bombers with free kick just about 60 out from home here. Sibbald receives the free kick. Right football. Kick to a 2-on-1. Karmas involved there for the Dogs. Eventually picked up by Dixon. The little chip in board is good for Ham. And he can have a shot on goal to reduce the margin down to 17 once more.
Got to kick this goal. And just really need this goal. Right-hand goal post. Just need to kick through the ball really hard and bring it back.
Has been efficient in front of the sticks this year. 12 goals, 5. For Braden Ham. Averaging 18 touches per game as well. So the Bombers need one here as we tick toward half-time. Left football's on the way. Tracking toward the left goalpost, but it stays straight. And the Bombers do finally get their third. 3-3-21. Footscray 6-2-38. Almost time on second term.
So yeah, it's the work they got way back in the game. You were saying now they need one more goal before half time, and they're really right back in the game because the Breeze is still 4 goals to the end with Chestnut kicking the third quarter.
Yeah, well, you really feel now this 10 minutes is going to be crucial
to the match.
Bombers can get a couple, bring themselves back into contention. They've got the Breeze in the third quarter, and they certainly have looked better after they were jumped early. The Bulldogs still with control. Breezy day in Footscray. This magnificent Whitten Oval. The VU Whitten Oval ball tossed back up again. Important possession. It's going to go the Bulldogs' way. West was legged, and he's going to take a free kick. Still inside the centre square, just on the defensive side. The kick will head notionally towards the broadcast side. It carries with the Breeze. The initial pack couldn't get there. Now pack of players diving in around it. John picks it up. Oh, he did really well to get that handball out. Lynch worked it across nicely. Wallace going across the face of goal. And that's a nice mark taken by Smith.
Geez, he got a good leap for a player his size. He's not that big, but you can see him floating in the air. He's got one of those players who just floats. And the old Michael Jordan floats in the air, and that's what he did.
Yeah, did it nicely too. So for the rookie, Rock Smith, who's been around this club for quite some time now, but is classed as the rookie listed player. He comes in. He's 20 metres out. The kick is good. So they all get to him as well. 8th goal for the season, first for this afternoon. And it's an important one for Footscray. 7-2-44 plays 3-3-21. As we're weaving our way through this second quarter. 21, almost 22 minutes gone in the second term.
Efficiency in front of goals really counts for a lot in AFL footy, or in footy in general. And 7-2 is a great result this time of the match at the moment.
We're minutes away from 3 more games kicking off. We'll be hosting Box Hill, and then all standalone clashes. Williamstown hosting Coburg, and Port Melbourne will take on Frankston at Adcon Stadium as well. All of those are 2 o'clock starts. Umpire throws it up. Sweet jumped early. Bowman stayed down. Neither really won it in the end. Dogs do go inside 50. No mark taken by Gleeson. Kavara lost his footing. Jong had to go through his legs. Hard ball to win here. Ball up. About 45 out from goal for the Bulldogs, leading by 23 once more. It's been a seesawing sort of second quarter. The quarter time margin was 17 in favour of Footscray. Jock. He's put into the ground by Kavara. Good tackle. It's been good today, Ben Kavara.
Early around the grounds in the AFL. Melbourne playing Collingwood. 3 behinds plays 2 behinds. Pies by a point, 15 into the first.
West just spat the hand pass out. Eventually teammate does get it. It's Lynch, a high ball now. Hartley in the marking contest with Josh Wallace. No mark was taken. Off hands it came. Scott looking for an opening. Hand pass off. Williams snaps and misses. 7-3-45 Footscray. Essendon 3-3-21. Your margin is 4 straight kicks here. And they're in. Well, a long kick in from Hartley. Now we're in a rush, the Bombers, to get that out of D50. Tynan. It's a high ball. A couple of plays underneath this one. West does well. Read it better in flight than Dixon. Riley West on true centre wing on the Doug Hawkins side of the ground. Chips one toward the arc. Webb's his target. Out to Rourke Smith. And that's a neat little pass for Kavara. Takes the chest mark. 45-degree angle, and will kick from the same distance in metres.
What's the odds of him missing? What's the odds of him getting this goal? I'd be
pretty good, I would say.
I would say a lot.
11 goals, 1 for the season. Stoney, what does that tell you?
99%, sure. He doesn't miss much, Ben Kavara. When he's got a shot on goal, he's nearly odds-on favourite.
It'll be his 9th touch of the day. The sun comes out once more. Ben Kavara. Left foot ball's on the way. Looked like he aimed it at the left goalpost, and the breeze brought it back nicely. Another goal for Footscray. Looking good today at the VU Whitten Oval. 8-3-51. Essendon 3-3-21. The margin's out to 30 points as we approach the 25-minute mark of the second term.
When you are kicking accuracy in front of goal and you're scoring 8 goals 3 nearly till half-time, it's pretty hard for the opposition to take the ball inside your 50 and kick a goal every time you do that. It makes it really hard when you got the breeze also.
Yeah, exactly. And not making the most of it in this quarter. They've got 4 goals to 2. Just when you thought the Bombers might get themselves back into it, the Bulldogs in red time putting the foot down.
Nathan Drummond's still in the interchange bench, boys. Bit of a worry there.
Okay, well, keep us updated on that one, Stoney, as the ball back in the middle, but it's a clearing kick for the Bombers. Dixon puts it up towards centre half forward. No one could take the mark. Plenty of players around the footy. Hipper one way than the other. Just sold Minot into a bit of trouble. Pushed off his kick, but did manage to release it. They've actually retreated ground here, the Bombers, because they're under that much pressure. Dixon gets hands to it, works it to Hartley. His kick was smothered. He goes back in again, Hartley. Long is there. We go back from whence it came. Dixon, again the kick, this time goes short. And the kick is okay, and Jock takes the mark. Too far out to score. He kicks inside the 50. Oh, turn it over. Goodness me. Camus takes the mark. And he was the only player who was in that contest. It was like he was wearing a Bombers jumper in the end. Now Young trying to get outside defensive 50. Goes with a long kick. It holds in the breeze. It's going to be a free kick. Was D the one giving it away? It was. And the free kick will go the Bulldogs' way. Scott to take it. Assessing options. Thinking about switching, but decides to stay on the Doug Hawkins wing. On that outer side to Webb, who takes the mark. Kick for Smith. Has to pick it up half volley style right near the line. Taken out of his hands. Trying to take it away. Sullivan couldn't keep it in. We will have it thrown in on the Doug Hawkins wing. On the outer side, we will have it thrown in. 51 plays 21. 27 gone in the second quarter. Next week will be the Bombers versus Richmond. Potentially 1v2 on the ladder.
Could be a grand final preview. So the ball trickles towards half forward here for the Bombers. Lazaro, nice handball, but comes unstuck. Roberts gets it back. Williams, Webb. Hand pass to Sullivan, who was next in the chain. Lazaro came back, applied some defensive pressure. It goes out of bounds. Boundary throw in.
Looking around the crowd here, a former Footscray champion, Robert Gronewagen, standing in the crowd.
Oh, lovely.
Right behind me.
Well, it's a good opportunity for the fans to watch the VFL, then hop on the train, get to Marvel Stadium. Plenty of time today.
Sweet in the ruck contest, fisted it down. It will work out for the Bulldogs in the end. William tackled as he kicked, but did get his kick away.
Well
West, the bounce was kind, and the finish was even better. Riley West kicks another one for Footscray. They are on their way at the moment to potentially win number 12 of the season and second spot
and
on the
six in a
VFL
row.
ladder. 9-3-57 Footscray, Essendon 3-3-21. They are running away with this before half-time as we speak, Footscray.
Just good use of the breeze and, players in the right position.
But you just see the space, Tony. They get the ball in quicker.
Yeah.
Well, the Bombers, we've seen in this second quarter, the numbers, the Bulldog numbers that are inside defensive 50, they just can't get anything happening. So 57 plays 21, 28 and a half gone, second quarter. Is everyone back in position? The umpire waits and will throw the ball up. Bowman going to work, but Sweet picked it up for the Bulldogs. Another stalemate though. They pile in on top of the footy. Umpire allowing things to go on, but then saying, give it to me. At half-time, we're going to hear from the 150 gamer, Luke Tynan. We caught up with the team on the SEN VFL show during the week, but the Bombers, they'd be desperate for a goal here, but it's not going to happen because Young comes in and takes a defensive mark at centre-half back.
Played real well to that Young, really well.
They wanted the 50, the fans. I said that wasn't going to happen.
15 touches now, Stoney.
Kick goes long. Trying to work his way through Union. And on the quiet side today. Still got plenty of time to turn that around. Fell into the hands of Gleeson. And another great mark taken by West at centre-half forward. Gets it going quickly. Into the pocket. Getting hands to it. Laguda. But here's another one.
Jordan Sweet, soccer style.
Did it nicely. Picked it up beautifully. And he off the ground. He kicks the goal. And it's a procession here for Footscray. Essendon leaking goals late. 10-3-63 plays 3-3-21. As we take another look at it on our replay monitor here.
Big foot.
It was a great mark by West at centre forward. Really set it up. The ball coming in off hands on the deck, and Sweet said, no, I'll just kick it off the ground.
Soccer style.
Why not? No need to pick it up and run towards goal. That's nice coordination by the big man.
It's a fairly decent highlight reel that Footscray is putting together in this second term.
9th goal for the season for the big man too.
Ben Cavara's goal still the picker from Stoney in this second term.
No doubt.
So the margin is blowing out. 42 points. Porter, Williams, kick smothered. A bit more of that from the Bombers at the moment. Just pressure on the ball carrier. Trickling ball towards half forward. It zips past Scott.
Oh, well done.
Well picked up in the end by Laguda. Nice little kick out wide as well. Houlihan goes in board. Gleeson did well to affect the contest. Cavara. And, well, their ability to build off half-back has been impressive. Porter towards half-forward. Falls for Jong. And all by himself in the goal square. That's too easy. Dan Jordan doesn't have any hair, but if he did, he'd be pulling it out because Riley West had a paddock to deal with. And that's the easiest goal of the lot that the Dogs have kicked in this second term. 11-3-69. Essendon 3-3-21. Footscray now in this second term have kicked 7 goals too.
Let's go around the grounds. We've got the chance early stages at Avalon Airport Oval. 1-1-7, the Box Hill Hawks leading Werribee no score. 7.5 into the first there. Almost 8 gone in the second. Coburg a goal. Williamstown are behind. And 7 minutes gone. Adcon Stadium 1-1-7. Frankston plays one behind at Port Melbourne. All those scores underway. We'll also bring you scores a bit later on from Geelong and North Melbourne, played at GMHBA Stadium. 3:45 start that one. Ball tossed back up. And Jock's a man in the ruck now for the Bombers, but he was nowhere near it. Sweet's having some sort of quarter in the ruck. He's going to pick up the footy again. No, Jock getting in the way. And now another stalemate. The umpire will throw the ball up. 32 minutes gone in this second term.
Always wondered in the modern game how a player gets by himself to hit a goal in the goal square, no one's around him. Interesting.
Yep. Well, it can hurt you the other way back, on the way back too. If there is a turnover, as Hocking's on the bottom of this pack, no one's doing anything in a hurry. Play on, said the umpire, and the ball's going to be clear for the Bulldogs, going inside 50 again. Again, they're under pressure. D dragged down the tackle, managed to release it. Zerk Thatcher now forced to lay the tackle long there too. John getting himself into a nice position. Ball eventually extracted by Zerk Thatcher. It's a high ball though, and it's going to be turned over. And Porter, about 20 metres that kick, and Porter's got it. The man on the mark standing on the 50.
I tell you what, if he's not about a kick, he get the journey here.
Yep. There's some driving by going on. Fletcher Roberts, who we know is a long kick. Oh, this ball's going to go shorter. And just opening up the angle to be directly in front is Sullivan. Now the drive-by going past. Umpire says play on.
That's a goal.
And that's going to be a goal! How was that finish from Lynch? He was the one driving by. They worked that out beautifully, Footscray.
Timing is everything.
Impeccable timing. And what a way to cap off. Magnificent second quarter for the Bulldogs. 12-3-75, plays 3-3-21. We'll see it again on the replay. Lynch, 2 steps, bang. No problem at all. And they have put the foot down, Footscray here, and looking very, very good in this battle for second spot on the table. It's Footscray with the advantage, 12-3-75 to Essendon, 3-3-21. And in that quarter, as Adam alluded to, they piled on the goals. 8 goals, 2 in that quarter for Footscray. And for Essendon, 2 goals, 1. The goal kickers to half-time. And a couple of multiples. Ruben William with 3, 2 each to Kavara and West. And singles to Lynch, Smith, Sweets, Scott and Wallace. And for the Bombers, all singles, Ham, Lant and Lazaro. 12-3-75 to Essendon, 3-3-21. Amazing quarter of football for the home side, Stoney.
Yes, and I don't think we'll see Nathan Drummond after half-time. He just walked on the boundary with some ice to a right hamstring. So I reckon he's finished for the day. All
right, we will take a break. We'll go around the grounds, update you on all the early scores from the other venues, also some AFL scores, and we're going to hear from Luke Tynan, racking up a milestone this weekend. Caught up with the guys on the SEN VFL Hour from Tuesday night, and plenty more still to come. It's Hard Yakka Totally Workwear, VFL Live.
At Totally Workwear, we kit out the brickies, the chippies, the foremen, the tradies. Did we say foremen? They're not all men, some are ladies. Yeah! Work in an office, retail, healthcare, hospitality? Here's where you'll find all your workwear. Yeah, totally. Totally Workwear have got you covered with the best brands, best value and best service. Totally Workwear. Get what you want and get back to work.
Nature's an amazing place. It's a perfect balancing act, thriving with life. Some of which we don't even see. Like the billions of microorganisms that help keep nature in balance. At Swiss, the quest continues.
Your Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL Club needs you to show your support. Buying a VFL Club membership helps support your local team and provides great discounts and match access. The VFL gives you the chance to get in the coaches' huddle and enjoy kick-to-kick on the field, whilst kids under 15 get in free. Get involved in the VFL this season. Head to vfl.com.au/membership to find out what membership offers are available at your club in 2019.
I'm a digital radio.
And I'm a digital TV. Now, you may remember when TV went digital.
Yes, and you got a lot more channels and a better picture.
Well, buying a digital radio is the same.
Exactly. I've got up to 30 extra radio stations, plus all your old faves, and I sound amazing.
Yeah, but I look amazing.
Yeah, but this is a radio ad, so no one can see you.
Oh, yeah.
So if you want to hear this station like you have never heard it before,
buy a digital radio.
Head into your nearest retailer and upgrade to digital.
For club interviews and all the news from the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL and Swiss Wellness VFL Women's, don't miss the VFL Hour during the Sporting Capital with Jack Heverin, Tuesdays from 9 p.m. on 1116 SEN.
But it's your job. You'll be fine.
Mate, just because everybody seems like they're doing it doesn't actually mean that they are doing it.
Help your kids understand that betting and sport don't have to go together.
The ads don't always tell you the risks, yeah?
Before you have the talk, check lovethegame.vic.gov.au. Authorised by VRGF Melbourne.
Don't miss a moment of the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL. Find SEN2 on your digital radio today for live coverage of the match of the round. The Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL. Live on SEN2 DAB+.
Love your sport? Then you'll love SEN.
Looks to be the last game of the first set. Almagro leading 5-3.
And you'll find it on digital radio. Simply scroll to SEN, Melbourne's home of sport.
Streaming live through VFL.com.au. This is VFL Live.
Yeah, we are here at Whitten Oval. What a result for the Bulldogs to half-time. 12-3-75 to the Bombers 3-3-21 in this battle for second spot on the table. At the moment, it's Essendon in second spot, but if you take the live ladder, Adam, Footscray are in front. Well, yes, they are. Thank you for that. As we're going to hear from Luke Dynan in just a moment. But let's go around the grounds to half-time, and plenty of other matches now underway, early stages. On 12 minutes in the opening quarter. 2 straight 12 for Werribee, plays 1-1-7 Box Hill, 12 minutes into the first quarter there. It's 1 straight 6 Coburg, letting the Seagulls one behind at Downer Oval. Gee, it's about 12 degrees here. It'll be -4 at Williamstown, the wind blowing off the bay. 1-1-7 apiece, Port Melbourne and Frankston, 12 minutes into the opening quarter there. And we've got Geelong and North Melbourne. 3:45 bounce down at GMHBA Stadium. The curtain raiser to the AFL game. In the AFL, we've got Port Melbourne and Sydney. That match to get underway. The match should be underway, yeah. They're 1-1-7 apiece. Both Port Adelaide and the Sydney Swans.
Port Melbourne don't have an AFL licence.
Port Adelaide, not Port Melbourne, not yet. And Melbourne leading in a low score at quarter time, 1-4-10 to Collingwood 5 behinds. So they are the up-to-date around the ground scores in the AFL, and also Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL as well. Plenty happening around the VFL, as we told you about. The grand final moving to Icon Park, but plenty of milestones to celebrate. And Luke Tynan, one of those for the Casey Demons, formerly of Port Melbourne. He racks up game 150 this weekend. He caught up with the team on SEN's VFL show. You can hear that every Tuesday night from 9 o'clock. And Luke caught up with the team to talk about game 150 in his career so far.
This man is about to play game 150, his 150th VFL game this weekend. He's back at his original club, the Casey Demons. Luke Tynan has been good enough to join us on the VFL Hour. Luke, congratulations ahead of this week's 150th. You must be pretty rapt to achieve such a significant milestone.
Thanks for having us on board, fellas. It's definitely a big milestone to kick off, and I'm very happy that I've got this far.
Luke, did you realise that the milestone might be coming up this season when you return to Casey?
It did cross my mind. Kind of added up the numbers and saw that I only had a few games left to get to the 150, so it's been in the back of my mind for a little bit longer than I was hoping.
And what's it been like, the return to Casey this year? Probably, 5 years away? Were there any familiar faces on your return this season?
There was pretty much just the one familiar face. Mitch Gent was still down there, so I played a few years with him originally, and he was pretty much the solo person still there, and probably in the whole organisation, he was pretty much the only one, apart from a few board members. So it's totally different, brand new place really.
And what was it like probably seeing one of those familiar faces off the field? He was one of your former teammates and captain of the club at the time, with Evan Penoza returning to the team this year from up north and returning in a coaching role this season.
It's been great for the club over a number of years, and it's good to have him back on board. Sometimes it's probably hard to get while a credentialed people in roles, in assistant roles, and he puts in the hard yards, and it's been great for the club this year.
Luke, you made your reputation at Casey. You're a Team of the Year player in 2012, and you're a Casey VFL Team of the Decade selection as well. You moved to Port Melbourne for 5 years. You won a best and fairest there in their 2017 premiership season. What was it that prompted you to sort of head back to Casey after such great success with Port Melbourne?
It's probably just probably needed a fresh start and a change of environment. Kind of wanted to test myself coaching and playing-wise. So basically the way Melbourne's going at the moment, probably wanted to get under the nose of the coaching structure that they have. So probably just balance between playing and coaching a little bit later in the career.
And what sort of background and areas have you utilised to move into that coaching area? Were you able to learn a lot from kind of Ayresy at Port Melbourne before moving back to Casey?
Yeah, so we've probably had a number of different coaches in my time at Port, Ayresy being the head coach, and then worked closely with a fair few defensive line coaches over the years. And then, probably as soon as caught up with Jade Rawlings initially. I thought that was probably a perfect fit to because he's been defensive line coach at AFL and very well established coach. So I thought he would be perfect for kind of what I was looking for.
So take us through what your role is in a coaching capacity with the side, Luke. Is it defence, or where do you do most of your work in the coaching realm?
Yeah, so it probably hasn't played out exactly how I was hoping. I had a pretty hands-on role initially with pre-season and stuff like that, and then played the first couple of games and probably battled a bit with injury and spent a little bit of time at local trying to come back through that. So in-season hasn't been as hands-on, whereas pre-season was, very hands-on, and I'd take little drills and stuff like that to try, upskill in kind of some of the areas that I am stronger in.
So I suppose when Melbourne went through that very, very public and very substantial reshuffle midway through the year, that would have sort of turned your world upside down a little bit as well, and I don't think you would have been expecting that during the pre-season.
No, so that was very left field. We basically found out on a Tuesday night, came in and basically new coach within a short space of time. But Sammy Radford's been terrific for the group. Very positive and knows what he's talking about. So I think he's been he's picked up where Jade left off.
Luke, you mentioned injury. It must have been a bit unfortunate to probably miss the two key games of the season. Number one, playing against your brother who's now over at Essendon. Number two, playing the old team in Port Melbourne. You missed both those games early on in the season.
Yeah, it was definitely on the calendar. I tried to push pretty hard to try to get back for the Port game. But realistically, I was still a fair bit of time off, but in my head I was trying my hardest to get back for that. Would have been very interesting, but some things happen.
2 games left to go in the season. You've got Collingwood this weekend, and then you round out your season, I believe, a week later when you take on Frankston. What are you hoping to get out of the final couple of games of the year, Luke?
Yeah, so we've probably got to put all our energy into these last couple of games and hopefully get 2 wins and give ourselves that small bit of hope that we can push up into the top 8. But we've kind of left it to a little bit of luck, but we can only look after what we can look after.
Well, mate, one thing you can look after is that 150-game milestone this weekend. Back at your original club after 5 years at Port Melbourne, it's going to be a wonderful occasion for you. Congratulations on game 150, and we hope it's a successful afternoon for you
Thank you very much. Thanks for having us on, and hopefully we get the 4 points.
Well, we hope they do get the 4 points as well, but it's good to see Luke Tynan reaching game 150. Certainly deserves the milestone. He's had a long career across Port Melbourne and also Casey in VFL Hour on 11:16 SEN. You can catch that every Tuesday night between 9 and 10, and particularly important in the run-up to the finals as well. We'll take a break. It's Footscray 12-3-75 leading Essendon 3-3-21. We'll be back with all the stats to half-time. We'll be back with plenty of around-the-ground scores and then into the second half action. Stay with us. This is Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL Live.
Nature's an amazing place. It's a perfect balancing act, thriving with life. Some of which we don't even see. Like the billions of microorganisms that help keep nature in balance. At Swiss, the quest continues.
At Totally Workwear, we kit out the brickies, the chippies, the foremen, the tradies. Did we say foremen? They're not all men, some are ladies. Yeah! Work in an office, retail, healthcare, hospitality? Here's where you'll find all your workwear. Yeah, totally. Totally Workwear have got you covered with the best brands, best value and best service. Totally Workwear. Get what you want and get back to work.
For club interviews and all the news from the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL and Swiss Wellness VFL Women's, don't miss the VFL Hour during the Sporting Capital with Jack Heverin, Tuesdays from 9 p.m. on 11:16 SEN.
But it's your job. We'll be fine.
Mate, just because everybody seems like they're doing it doesn't actually mean that they are doing it.
Help your kids understand that betting and sport don't have to go together.
The ads don't always tell you the risks, yeah?
Before you have the talk, check lovethegame.vic.gov.au. Authorised by VRGF Melbourne.
Don't miss a moment of the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL. Find SEN2 on your digital radio today for live coverage of the match of the round. The Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL. Live on SEN2 DAB+.
I'm a digital radio. To help explain why it's time to update your old radio, with me is my friend Digital TV.
Hi.
Where you go?
Remember when us TVs went digital?
Everyone does. Get to the point.
Suddenly, you got lots more channels for free.
Yes.
Well, it's the same with digital radio.
When you buy a digital radio, you can get all your favourite stations plus up to 30 extra ones, playing all kinds of music, live sport and talk.
That's pretty great.
It's really great.
All you have to do is head into your nearest retailer
or check out digitalradioplus.com.au
and upgrade to digital.
Your Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL Club needs you to show your support. Buying a VFL Club membership helps support your local team and provides great discounts and match access. The VFL gives you the chance to get in the coaches' huddle and enjoy kick-to-kick on the field, whilst kids under 15 get in free. Get involved in the VFL this season. Head to vfl.com.au/membership to find out what membership offers are available at your club in 2019.
Love your sport? Then you'll love SEN.
Stuart Appleby has come from 7 strokes behind.
And you'll find it on digital radio. Simply scroll to SEN, Melbourne's home of sport.
Streaming live through VFL.com.au. This is VFL Live.
Half-time here at VU Whitten Oval. It's 12-3-75 Footscray leading Essendon 3-3-21. Peter Mikado, Adam Sarakoglu. And Mark Stone with you, and the run to the finals is on next week. Our match for broadcast will be at Windy Hill, and it will be the match between Richmond and Essendon around the grounds. It is rolling towards quarter time at some of the other venues. 27 minutes gone the first quarter at Avalon Airport Oval. 4-1-25 Werribee leading Box Hill 3-1-19. And 28 gone the first quarter at Downer Oval Williamstown. A 1-point lead to the Seagulls. 3-2-20 leads 3-1-19. And 27 minutes gone at Adcon Stadium. 4-3-27 the Borough leading Frankston 1-2-8. With the other game to come. Geelong taking on North Melbourne at GMHBA Stadium. In the AFL, before they get this second half underway, Some updated scores there. They're into the second quarter, the MCG, and it is Melbourne by 5 points, 2-4-16, plays Collingwood 1-5-11, a low scorer there, and Port Adelaide 3-3-21, leading the Swans 1-2-8, 19 minutes into the first quarter there. You're up to date. Let's get some numbers very quickly out of before we get into this second half.
So Callum Porter is the leading ball getter on the ground with 16. Fletcher Roberts and Lewis Young both have 15 for Footscray. Still Aaron Heppel, the leading bomber on the ground with 14. In fact, looking at the top, I think that's top 8 ball getters on the ground. 7 of the top 8 are Bulldogs.
As we get into the second half, umpire throwing the ball up and away we go.
So we start with a 54-point advantage for Footscray. Such a famous number around here. Bombers straight away attacking though. Minot's kicks on the way and Young takes the mark on the last line of defence. This will be his 16th disposal. Looking for Prudent. A couple of red and black jumpers there. Ham. Now Long. That's a great kick in board for Unit. Although cutting it off.
Great mark.
It was Bailey Williams. A great mark. Picks it off in the hot spot. And the Dogs have it back. The kick toward the Doug Hawkins wing. Comes to ground level. Trying to crash his way through his Minot. Dispossessed, did not dispose. Free kick advantage paid for Footscray.
Oh, they're trying to get some run going, but just the fumble, and Hocking was allowed to get into the contest. Got it away to Tynan, who's kicked a long ball inside the 50. Lazaro pushed out of it. That's okay. Young takes the mark. He goes across the ground looking for Jong, who has to go and reach for it. Ball just holding up in the breeze, trying to get across there. Houlihan laying the tackle. Ball eventually spilled free, but there are Bulldog numbers around the footy as we head to the broadcast side for the first time. And Pruden puts the ball out of bounds on the full. It's where Mark Stone is waiting. There's Hocking. A short ball. It's an okay ball. Brown takes the mark, and he's just going to go with a long one, loading up deep inside the 50. They fly. Just coming from Roberts. Ball falls to an attacking position for Kavara to try and just clear the space up towards the Doug Hawkins wing, and following it up, trying to follow up as well. As eventually it's going to be in Bombers' hands. Heppel dragged down, still managed to get it away. Tynan kick inside the 50s. They're going to go out the full. Doesn't matter. It's going to be marked by Young again. As we welcome back, Stoney is on the boundary.
I'm here.
Insightful as always, Adam, as thought he might have just gone on with something there, but really nothing after half time.
Well, it is important for us to know that he is present.
Turnover, and D takes the intercept mark. Kick inside 50 through sets of hands as, again, the Bulldogs just trying to clear, but it's untidy play at the moment. It's Hartley who just bombs it long into the pocket, and Smith trying to take the mark. Tynan Smith for Essendon. Taken away from him, and it is over the line. We will have it thrown in. 12-3-75 Footscray. Essendon 3-3-21. Obviously Nathan Drummond the big concern for the Bulldogs out of half time.
Yeah, he's got a hamstring injury. Won't see him in the second half. He was pretty full on as he walked around the boundary just at half time there, and had one of the trainers his arm around him. So not a bad start for the day for young Nathan.
Off hands it comes. The snap on goal. Sibbles into the ruck. For the Bombers, the shot was missed in the end by Brown. Minus score for Essendon. As Bailey Williams sets up to bring this ball back into play for Footscray. Runs out of the square. Again goes toward that outer side. Dogs have favoured that side of the ground today. Tynan wrapped up by Scott straight away. And we'll have a ball up beside the centre square.
Mitch Wallace on the boundary line helping out the Footscray team. Good to see.
Another Josh is out there today. Webb hacks it towards half forward, but D's in the right spot for Essendon. Takes the relieving mark at right half back. Matt D. Very short pass, no 15 apparently. Laguda. Half forward we go. Sweet's involved in the contest. It's fisted toward the line. Heppel picks up for the Bombers. Inside 50 he goes. Another touch coming up for Lewis Young. Fast emerging is the best on ground candidate today, Stoney. Prudent. It's 19 touches for Young now. Hocking gets the fist on Jong. Ham. Unin. Ball skittles him in the end. Karma's pushed out of the contest. Jong's involved again. Umpire took a while, but does call for the stoppage now.
Well, at least they're looking it in the right area, the Bombers.
4 minutes gone, third term on Hard Jacket. Totally Workwear VFL Live. Hope you're enjoying the coverage. VFL.com.au and our audio-only audience on SEN2 as well. Kavara eventually picks up, escapes from the chaos, and the kick to release Brad Lynch here, although it might run away from him. He does not keep it in play. Boundary throw in.
And just a moment of hesitation there where he thought, oh, maybe this is actually staying in. No, the boundary umpire was in a good position. The ball to be tossed back in. It's up to 12 degrees, Stoney. Still, could have been a hell of a lot worse as the ball's tossed back in. And the Rucks go at it. Sweet just taken out of it. Bowling around West was dispossessed as Sweet picked it up but turned it over. Little shorty ball, Minor trying to get it into someone in space, and that's an impossibility because the Bulldogs with numbers again. Pruden just hurls it onto the boot up towards centre wing. Zerk Thatcher front position has dealt with, dropped the mark, and still plenty of numbers here for the Bulldogs. Twisting and turning sort of stuff from Gleeson, and his kick's been turned over, and Hartley takes the mark. He'll go inboard into the middle of the ground. We've got some players in space. Laguda, who's racked up plenty of possessions today. It's across to Brown, and Brown's kick towards the broadcast side. Gains 20 metres, finds Lazaro. Just into attack for the Bombers. Now the high kick inside 50, and that's the best delivery they've had today. Coming through nicely, Tynan Smith. And he will line up and have a shot. 40 out, or 35 out, I should say.
What's the
no
breeze
real angle
doing
to speak of.
So still a 4-goal breeze, and you'll get the distance easier here. They really probably the best passage of play or best build up to the end of their forward, as you said, but need to kick the goal. They need to be accurate because they need to try and get back in this game.
So in he comes, Tynan Smith. Their game for the year. Kick on the way as a goal. First for the afternoon for him. As Footscray 12-3-75, Essendon 4-4-28, 6.5 gone in this third quarter. First goal of the third quarter going the way of Essendon.
Tynan Smith now going at 2 goals a game. He does look an impressive type, fairly well built. So 4-4 plays 12-3. The Bombers have the breeze in this third term, and they have no choice. They have to make the most of it. Bulldogs piled on 8 goals in the second term. It's a high ball here. Gow is wrapped up straight away by Heppel. Did he get rid of it? Umpire lets it all go. Play on. But now there's a whole lot of humanity over the top of the Sharon. Ball up.
I'm really impressed by young Sweet's ability below his knees. He's got a lot of tricks, this young fella. He's going to be a good player.
He wins that tap. Webb tried to help it onto Scott. Ground level ball, Carmen's involved, there's a whistle. Lucas Webb's going to get the free kick going his way beside the centre circles. Throws it onto the left foot. Not a great ball. Perhaps could have spent some more time thinking about what to do with it. Heppel took the relieving mark for Essendon. Now Ham has it at left half back. The Bombers have to get a move on. The switching ball is questionable to say the least. D gets away from West in the end. The kick to the middle is good. Ridley marks, he looks ahead. Plenty of red and black streaming toward forward 50. And now Jock inside 50 looking for Hocking,
mark.
but the man that has been a star today, Lewis Young, takes another mark. And he'll be the first man to reach 20 disposals with this kick.
And it's a kick back from where it came. Right near the boundary line, it's out of bounds on the full. So Hartley to take the free kick. He had options, got an option inboard. It's Laguda, that's ignored. So umpire just taking Hartley around towards the advertising signs out there. And then out of side, he kicks inside the 50. Again, a 3-on-1 in favour of the Bulldogs. Trying to keep the ball in with Smith, but the boundary line wins out. We will have it thrown in. Bring you some quarter time scores from the other venues underway. 5-5-35 Port Melbourne leading Frankston 1-2-8, and 4-2-26 Werribee leading Box Hill 3-1-19. Bringing the other score in a moment. Ball tossed back in. Very shallow throw in. Ball near the line. Is it going to be called? Yep, we will have it thrown in. into attack here for the Bombers. 52 around from their goal. And in the other game, quarter time at Williamstown, 3-3-21 the Lions, leading the Seagulls 3-20. And the other venues that are underway, plenty of matches. Hardjacker Totally Workwear, VFL Macomb got the ball out to Porter for the Bulldogs, who's kicking up the line. William put hands to it, couldn't complete the mark, but they've still got some numbers here, the Bulldogs, on the overlap. A little short kick towards the boundary line. Will it stay in? Sullivan's there. He's bundled over. We'll have it thrown in. Right on centre wing, the Doug Hawkins wing. 12-3-75. Footscray, Essendon 4-4-28. 10 gone in the third quarter. As Brown and Smith make their way back out onto the grounds. Work his way through Mosquito. First go at it, then the second he fumbled. Ball's been turned over and then turned over again. It's Bombers' way. Inside 50, Ridley trying to track the ball towards the line. Goes over, we'll have it thrown in again. I suspect we're going to have a long quarter with a lot of stoppages in the first 10 minutes or so. 12-3-75 Footscray, Essendon 4-4-28. We'll go around the AFL venues in just a moment too. Some low scoring, particularly at the MCG. Ball tossed back in. And again, it's going to go straight to the line, and we'll do it all again.
Not sure what Bowman was intending with that double fist that went straight back toward the line and out of play.
Harley Bowman. 30 plays 17. Collingwood leading 20 into the second quarter. And almost quarter time. Goal the difference. Port Adelaide leading the Swans. Ball tossed back in. Again, deep into attack for the Bombers. Well, again, it's a shallow throw in. Sibbald had it all to his own, but Cummins threw it onto the boot for the Bulldogs and again clears the space, but it may only be temporary because Hartley, wrapped up in the tackle, still managed to get the handball away into the path here of Jock, but getting from position was Porter. They're tracking towards the line. Has it gone over? It has. And we will have another throw in. It's been a tight contest this third quarter so far. 12-3-75 plays 4-4-28. They score on the board for Footscray, but Essendon can't put any pressure on. They've just kicked 1-1.
Sweet grabs it from the ruck contest and hacks the ball forward. Zerk Thatcher in front of William. Kavara, does he keep it in play? Did well in the end. He was nimble. Webb kicked it and go far though. Now wrapped up is Hartley by Ruben William. Umpire crosses his arms. We're forward of centre wing here for Footscray. Scored a half century in the second term, did the Bulldogs. 8-2-50. They've blown this game wide open in their favour. Webb another ball inside 50 that gets cut off eventually. Now it's with Lazaro. Uden has plenty of space here at left half back. Not a great kick though from Lazaro. It will skittle its way through eventually. Uden left it behind though, and that allowed Gowers in to lay the tackle. Ham was the helper. It's still a Bombers ball. Minot almost accidentally takes the mark. He just pinned it to his hip in the end. Towards half forward for his skipper. Heppel was up against Sweet. Had the height disadvantage to deal with. Eventually, Dogs do claim it. Hodge, the 23rd man. Gow was wrapped up straight away by Hartley. It's on ground level and it's not coming out. So, is it still a 4-goal breeze, Stoney?
Yeah, still 4-goal breeze to the Barclay Street end.
Bombers only have 4 goals for today. They're almost out of it. Webb hacks it towards half forward. A number of players came to meet it. Now Mosquito, haven't called his name too much today. Not a great handball. Vandermeer cuts off. Holds on to it. Does Vandermeer. Eventually out to Sweet. Dogs working it by hand. West gets involved. Lynch one way to the other.
Yeah.
And then found Gowers in plenty of space. Came off the mark, did Gowers. Goes inside 50. Rourke Smith's his target. 2 Bombers to deal with. Matt D's one of them. Picks up the bouncing ball and a nice kick to release Braden Ham.
Yep, so let's see what the Bombers can do here. Just held up again. Oh, it was a great passage of play in the middle of the ground for the Bulldogs there, but Ham's kick more in hope than anything else. It beats the initial pack. Ridley's the player, but he's got a couple to beat. It falls into the arms of Roberts, who's got plenty of numbers alongside. Round 1, round 2. West finds some space, heading up towards half forward. He gets the handball receive and then gives the handball off again. A long ball for Wallace into the pockets. Good pressure again by Tynan right near the line. And we will have it thrown in.
Those Footscray supporters are what Scotty West played. It's just like looking in the mirror. The way he runs with the ball and just links up, handball receives. It's just the way he walks. It's just like a clone.
You're telling me. You should be up here, Stoney, as the ball's tossed back in. Into attack here for Footscray. Boy, another goal here for Footscray, and that's almost game over, you would say. As West trying to get hands to it. It's a bit fumbly, the players at the moment. Understandable in the conditions. The umpire will come in and throw the ball up.
It's a good Strathmore product as well, Stoney.
There it is.
There it is. Ding, ding, ding. Finally, I was waiting for it. As Hartley's kick partially smothered. The EDFL mentioned he's done well actually to hold it off till the 15-minute mark of the third quarter.
Magnificent.
He got the EDFL reference away.
Lucky there's no Glenroy players in there.
I tell you, ball tossed back up. Oh, Hartley, he decided to almost kick the ball there because he couldn't get anywhere near the contest. Now West again going around the body. High ball. Could almost bring rain. That won't impress Stoney. No one could take the mark. It would have been play on anyway. Cutting his way through nicely, Vandermeer. A high kick. Again, the players are shielding their eyes from the sun because it might be a bit of an issue. Here's Kavara throwing it onto the boot. Ball smothered. They're defending grimly here, the Bombers, defending just to keep themselves in the match. Holding onto the ball is Ham. They really can't get anything going here, the Bombers. Ham clearing just outside the 50. It may only be temporary. Pruden just trying to tap the ball on. It goes through hands. Pruden goes there again. He's wrapped up in the tackle. Sybil holds him up and the umpire will throw it up. Half forward, centre half forward here for Footscray. 12-3-75 plays 4-4-28. Footscray leading. Ball tossed back up. Chance for the Bombers temporarily. Brown dragged down. It's a free kick going the way of Footscray. West to take it. Gets it going quickly. The kick inside 50 just hung a little bit too much here for Wallace. They've still got numbers though. And a quick kick here from Sullivan trying to drag it back. Goes all the way across the face of goal. It's still in play though. Plenty of numbers for the Bombers if they're careful. Tynan, just a little dribbling ball. Found Laguda. Needs to pick it up cleanly. He's dragged down, turned it over. William goes with a little short ball inside 50. It's lovely. And they bided their time. And McComb, the player on the end of the chain, and he will line up and have a shot 35 out directly in front.
Their team players are unbelievable. Just the way they team up and man up and just attack the ball and just support each other has been excellent. That's why I think that they're a dangerous side. And as we have a shot on goal.
Yep, a shot at goal here. McComb comes in. Kick on the way. Nope. Almost didn't make the distance in the end. A very flat sort of kick, but behind added to the total. 12-4-76 plays 4-4-28, 17 and a half gone in this third quarter.
D wants to go straight down the corridor. The kick almost carries to the middle of the ground. And then Bauman gets a second kick, so the Bombers in two kicks have gone from full back to centre half forward. Dogs win it back though, out wide. McComb, hand pass over the top. Scott, left foot ball for Kavara. Takes the mark, keeps on running. Good hand pass for Gowers. Has to get away around one tackler. Does give it back to Kavara. And his kick for Ruben William. It's almost carbon copy from what we saw in the second term where Ruben William marked in the pocket and kicked what was his third goal. Can go back for number 4.
And there's the exquisite skills of Ben Kavara, be able to take the ball a couple of times and spot up a player just on shot on goal. Just really well played, Ben Kavara.
William, I think he did kick one of his 2 goals in the first quarter from this sort of range. Sun shining at the VU Whitten Oval. And the Bulldogs are in control. It's their first goal of the third term. 13-4-82, Essendon 4-4-28. So we approach time on of the third quarter.
4 for William. He's one behind in the Bulldogs goal kicking for the year. And that was a nice finish. 4th goal of the afternoon. 13-4-82 playing 4-4-28. suspect 19 minutes into the third quarter, that's a margin that's going to be too great for the Bombers to bring back.
Webb's now up to 21 touches for the Dogs, 20 for Young. Hempel 19 for Essendon, and Braden Ham has 18 for the Bombers. They're the two leading ball getters for each side.
A few running repairs for Jared Gleeson too, Stoney. Keep an eye on that as ball back in the middle. It's another clearance for the Bulldogs. Been good in that department today as well. Into the path here of Scott. He'll want to just keep himself in front. The Bulldogs leading goal kicking award. Long getting onto it for Essendon, taken off the footy. There's Scott again. He just fumbled and got to his feet and had plenty of time. And that's been the key today for the Bulldogs. Plenty of time as Pruden trying to kick inside 50 for Footscray. His kick partially smothered. He'll have another go at it. This time he'll go across the ground. Picked up here by Williams. His handball and not really hitting any sort of target whatsoever. And the Bombers looking to get away. Smith, I should say, trying to pick up the footy, but John got in the way. His handball going backwards. Back Pruden picking it up now. Roberts safe hands, and they can get some movement going. Cummins gets the handball away. They're just trying to do it by handball because it's a bit congested up ahead. Turnover picked up by Lazaro. He dribbles a kick and goes a bit wider to Ham, who's been one of the Bombers' better players today. He goes around the corner and finds Unit, who's got an acre of space out on that outer side. One bounce, two bounces, closes to 50. He's marshalling the troops. He's trying to square the ball up, but he'll turn it over.
Story of the day, really.
It is. Fletcher Roberts takes the mark. Oh, the build-up was great, really. Danny Union could have just kept going and maybe had a shot at goal.
Easy, he would have. I don't know why he didn't do that.
82 plays 28 on Hard Jacket. Totally Workwear VFL Live. Porter has had a fair bit of it today. Goes short. Dogs are still inside defensive 50. Now McComb. Received from Gleeson. Long ball intended for Sweet. He was in battle with Hartley. It goes out of play. Hartley, a late inclusion for Sean McKernan in the AFL side last week. Was originally intending to play against Sandringham at Windsor Hill. Boundary throw in. Doug Hawkins wing. Name me a more famous wing in this great game of ours, gentlemen. I don't think you can. Boundary throw in again.
I think you're right there.
Very famous, Douglas.
We'll go around the grounds, half time down the way, and it's Collingwood by 18 points. 36 leads 18. 5-6, 36 to 2-6, 18. And 5 minutes into the second quarter in Adelaide. Port Adelaide by 3 points. 28 plays 25 over the Swans.
It's a 54-point ball game here in favour of Footscray. Putting together another fine season here in the VFL. Premiers in 2014 and 2016. And one of the favourites to perhaps do it again here in 2019. High ball towards centre wing. Kavara takes the mark.
Nicely done.
He's done well today, Ben Kavara. Handball off, gets the 1-2, then goes wide. Scott gets involved. This is Rourke Smith. Onto the left he goes. It's a high ball. And Gowers goes up, almost uncontested. Nice mark. Tynan lost it in flight. Gowers read it well and took it nicely in the end.
At a VFL level, Gowers does really well. He's a good player, hard, tough, and really good team player to have in your team, I reckon.
I reckon he's got some mates that would fit that description too, Stoney.
4 goals, 2 to his name this season in the VFL. He kicks the goal, the margin will be 60 points. Game high. For a 10-goal lead, Billy Gowers kicks on the way off the side of the boot. Lands in play, but the mark is taken by West.
Gee.
Doesn't want to have a shot. Cuts in board.
It's a great kick.
And threads the pass beautifully for Lucas Webb. It's becoming a clinic here at the VU Whitten Oval.
I just feel the sting coming out of the Bombers here, Stoney too, just with that, because a bit of loose checking going on. That was a bit too easy.
They've been flat right from the start, Pete, and it's really a tough thing. You know, Dan Jordan's bring your mind to the game. I don't think they have today.
It's going at less than 50% in front of the sticks this year. And that trend continues with that kick. Minor score for Lucas Webb, 13-5-83. Essendon 4-4-28. 24 gone in this third term.
As Dieter bring the ball back into play. His kick will go outside the 50. Hartley, the tall timber there. Union went without it. And the Bulldogs will come away with it again. May only be temporary because Union gets his hands to it. Getting around one, not getting around the second. Gowers wrapped him up in the tackle and he ended up coughing up the footy. Now they've got numbers here. Footscray, and the ball's going inside 50 again. Mark not taken by Haggard, the 23rd player. As a quick kick out of the pack will go out of bounds on the full. And we'll have a turnover. Haggard, the 23rd player for Essendon today. Austin Hodge, the 23rd player for Footscray. A great opportunity for both of those players as Tynan of Essendon kicks the ball up towards centre wing. And it's a nice mark out there taken by Houlihan on the Doug Hawkins wing, where it's been for the majority of today. Kick up the line, and there's 3-on-1 in favour of the Bulldogs, and away they go again. Cummins picks up the ball. Now they work it into the middle of the ground, and it's just a little bit too easy, and they're going to find a whole heap of space. Kavara all on his own, inside 50, takes the mark.
How does it happen? You
25 out, you line up directly in front, Stoney.
Just to leave a be able to play. I know it's about turnover and the positioning of the ground, but they've done it quite well and very well today, the Footscray team.
They certainly have, and it's just about getting the ball in quickly, and unfortunately for Matt D, he just couldn't get back quick enough. So Kavara with the 2 goals in the second term to extend the margin. The other thing we really haven't talked about, not that it matters too much here, but percentage might be an issue as the kick is on the way for a goal. He's third. And for the Bulldogs, 14-5-89, plays 4-4-28. 26 minutes gone in this third quarter, and it's looking ugly for the Bombers.
Interesting that these two sides will probably meet in the finals, you would think, and how the different side, Essendon, will be a different side when they come in the finals against the Footscray side. Plenty of confidence, 6 in a row now. So wonder what Dan Jordan, how he thinks now. I know they'd probably say, well, the game's maybe out of the possibility, but what can we get out of this game moving forward? And
a run home that is on the easier side. They play North Melbourne next week in Coburg. So this is their final home game for the season. Home and away wise, that is. Now, North Melbourne at Arden Street and Coburg at Piranha Park to finish off the season. As we reminded you, Essendon have Richmond and Geelong in their run home.
Bombers get the centre clearance here. Heppel sends him inside 50. Now Jock tackled, but got his hand pass out. Minot left it behind. And now Lynch. Hand pass to Sweet. Had to evade a couple of potential tacklers. Hard ball to win here. Bombers do get it back. Tynan kick smothered by Gowers. Porter. Brantley done by the Dogs. Lynch. It's 1-on-1 inside 50 here. Just outside there was Kavara though. Hand pass intended for Josh Wallace. He's intercepted. The kick from Hawking, that's okay. Mark taken by Minot. Umpires called play on for some reason. Minot caught surprised by that and holding the ball. Free kick, Ruben William.
That sums up their day.
Yeah, it does.
Jong gets it from William. And the attack is cut short as Gowers took the mark. Dogs in control at the VU Whitten Oval, 14-5-89. Essendon 4-4-28. Peter, you asked the question about percentage on the live ladder. It is neck and neck between the Dogs and the Bombers. Essendon still holding on to the percentage advantage by just over 1% on the live ladder.
So they've got to be really careful here, because if it does become a head-to-head shootout, it's going to be really interesting, because percentage might decide who takes second spot and gets that home final. 14-5-89 Footscray, Essendon 4-4-28. And for the Bulldogs, the goal kickers, 4 goals for Ruben William, 3 for Benny Kavara, and 2 for Riley West, and singles for Lynch, Smith, Sweet and Scott, and also Josh Wallace. And for Essendon, all singles, Ham, Lant, Lazaro and Smith. 14-5-89 plays 4-4-28. We'll take a break. On the other side of the break, we'll go around the grounds, both the VFL and AFL venues, and we'll get stuck into a big final quarter, an important final quarter. It is Footscray with the advantage. Back with more in a moment on Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL Live.
At Totally Workwear, we kit out the brickies, the chippies, the foremen, the tradies. Did we say foremen? They're not all men, some are ladies. Work in an office, retail, healthcare, hospitality? Here's where you'll find all your workwear. Yeah, totally. Totally Workwear have got you covered with the best brands, best value and best service. Totally Workwear. Get what you want and get back to work.
Totally Workwear. Nature's an amazing place. It's a perfect balancing act, thriving with life. Some of which we don't even see. Like the billions of microorganisms that help keep nature in balance. At Swiss, the quest continues.
Your hard yakka Totally Workwear VFL club needs you to show your support. Buying a VFL club membership helps support your local team and provides great discounts and match access. The VFL gives you the chance to get in the coaches' huddle and enjoy kick-to-kick on the field, whilst kids under 15 get in free. Get involved in the VFL this season. Head to vfl.com.au/membership to find out what membership offers are available at your club in 2019.
I'm a digital radio.
And I'm a digital TV. Now, you may remember when TV went digital.
Yes, and you got a lot more channels and a better picture.
Well, buying a digital radio is the same.
Exactly. I've got up to 30 extra radio stations, plus all your old faves, and I sound amazing.
Yeah, but I look amazing.
Yeah, but this is a radio ad, so no one can see you.
Oh, yeah.
So if you want to hear this station like you have never heard it before,
buy a digital radio.
Head into your nearest retailer and upgrade to digital.
For club interviews and all the news from the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL and Swiss Wellness VFL Women's, don't miss the VFL Hour during the Sporting Capital with Jack Heverin, Tuesdays from 9 p.m. on 1116 SEN.
But it's your job. We'll be fine.
Mate, just because everybody seems like they're doing it doesn't actually mean that they are doing it.
Help your kids understand that betting and sport don't have to go together.
The ads don't always tell you the risks, yeah?
Before you have the talk, check lovethegame.vic.gov.au. Authorised by VRGF Melbourne.
Don't miss a moment of the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL. Find SEN2 on your digital radio today for live coverage of the match of the round. The Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL. Live on SEN2 DAB+.
Love your sport? Then you'll love SEN.
Looks to be the last game of the first set. Almagro leading 5-3.
And you'll find it on digital radio. Simply scroll to SEN, Melbourne's home of sport.
Streaming live through VFL.com.au. This is VFL Live.
And it is three-quarter time here at VU Whitten Oval. It is a handy lead. It's 61 points for Footscray, 14-5-89 to Essendon, 4-4-28. They led by 17 points at quarter time. Footscray 54 at half time, and now 61 at three-quarter time. Peter Mikado, Adam Sarakoglu and Mark Stone with you as we go around the... And in the AFL, it is half time. It is Collingwood by 18 points, 5-6-36 to Melbourne, 2-6-18. And they are 16 minutes into the second quarter in Adelaide, and Port leading 5-5-35 to Sydney's 3-8-26. And in the Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL, we'll give you some around the ground scores, because our match ahead of the other ones going on around the place at the moment. Werribee 6-2-38 leading Box Hill 3-5-23. 22 gone in the second quarter at Williamstown, 5-8-38, plays 3-3-21, and 23 minutes into the second quarter, 6-11-47 Port Melbourne, Frankston 4-3-27, so a 20-point lead to Port Melbourne, with the other game to get underway in about 45 minutes, Geelong and North Melbourne at GMHBA Stadium, as we go boundary side to Mark Stone.
Yeah, Daniel Giansurica has just said, just for you, we've had three really good quarters, really competitive. You've been first to the football, you've played team game. Just keep it up in this last quarter, finish off the game, finish off a really good four-quarter effort. We haven't got long to the finals and want to tune up for those, and just let's get out there and do our best.
Yep. And the percentages we've been talking about, all important, even though Footscray will jump above Essendon on the ladder tonight and move into second place. We will see how this all plays out and how the percentages play out. We'll give you the rundown of that once we get to the end of this one. But all is almost in readiness for this final term. 14-5-89, plays 4-4-28. Umpire holds the ball aloft. Adam, let's see what happens in this final quarter.
So on that live ladder, Essendon still ahead by just over 1%. As the final term does get underway. Teeth Hocking with the ball for the Bombers, but the kick is smothered by Sweet. Picked up by Gowers. Had a good second half, Gowers, today. Laguda. Might have been taken high. The umpire let it go. Jong almost spent it before he had it. Long came and applied the pressure. It's in the hands now of Houlihan for Essendon. Spots up his captain inboard. Heppel brought down. Free kick advantage paid. Mosquito slips over. And I'm not sure what Hartley was thinking. Coughed it up in the end. William goes inside 50. And not for the first time today. West has space over the top. It might bounce all the way. Has anyone touched it? I don't think it has. It's a goal. Riley West kicks goal number 3.
Well,
and the Bulldogs have turned up. Have they, or have I already given them a goal?
Was it a goal to Kavara?
It's a goal. No, it's a goal to West.
It's a goal to West. So 15-5-95 Footscray. I gave them an extra goal there. Essendon 4-4-28.
Because it was Kavara who was running forward, Stoney, as we're seeing on our replay here. But West just had enough on it. Kavara, and it was Tynan. They both overran the footy and it just dribbled in after that. Wow. It's all rolling one way, and it's Footscray. 15-5-95, Essendon 4-4-28. And we're a minute and a half in this final term. Good news for Stoney is it hasn't dropped below 12 degrees and no rain thus far. So I think you might get through this okay as Gowers gets hands to it for Footscray. Handballs to Porter, who's immediately wrapped up in the tackle in the middle of the ground, and the umpire will throw it up. We were expecting hail, almost snow.
Feels like 8.4, Stoney. He doesn't believe me. Half of that.
As Hocking kicks up towards centre half forward for the Bombers. They've still got numbers. Sibbald hasn't stopped trying today. Was just taken off the footy by Pruden and lost a handle on it as well. They've got some numbers here again. Do Footscray. Williams, a kick inside the 50 to a one-on-one. Oh, Kavara's goal side. Got handball over the top. Looks for West. Might try and find Kavara. Instead, Cirque Thatcher got in the way. His handball intended for D. Didn't pick it up cleanly. Now's a second go. He's going to turn it over to William, who takes the mark.
How far out is he there?
He is 52 out, Stoney, and he's going to chip right over the top. And this is going to be okay. It's a short ball. Gleeson takes it. Gleeson and Footscray, and he'll kick along. He's tight on the boundary line, but again, here at VU Whitten Oval, he's got plenty of space, so he's not on the fence, but he'll come in and kick. Tight angle from 48, so he's just going to chip it to the top of the goal square. They fly. Webb was at the ground level, but kicked it into Heppel. And it's rushed through for a behind. 15-6-96 plays 4-4-28. We've played 3 minutes in this final term here on Hard Yakka Totally Workwear VFL Live.
Bruno Laguda is playing well at local level. Got the call up and has played a fair bit of VFL footy now as a result this year, but the kick's no good here. The intended target was Jacob Brown out of bounds on the full. And Lynch is going to claim it for Footscray. 96 playing at 28. Short pass intended for Gowers. He'll get the handball received from Jong.
Goal.
Then the don't argue. Then the shots. It's the Footscray show at the VU Whitten Oval. Now they ton up. 16-6-102. Essendon 4-4-28. 4 gone final term.
You could see what was going to happen there. As soon as Billy Gowers, he had a slight look, and he goes, I can get the journey here. And you could see as soon as it came off the boot, it was 6 points. Really good shot on goal.
Yeah, as soon as he picked it up, he just had the space and around on the left. He wasn't going to make any mistake. That's their 6th score this season over 100 points. Footscray, and they're looking like they might get to their highest score. It was last week, 19-10-124 against Frankston. Footscray, their highest score of the year. They're going to go close if they keep scoring at this pace. 4.5 minutes into the final term.
Great kicking, 16-6, good shot on goal.
And 6 in a row for Footscray as well. They are marching towards the game final series as Heppel, he marched into Lin Jong, who dragged him down in the tackle. Can't get clear now. Jong picks it up and just gets through the traffic. His handball not the greatest. It set Williams a task, but it doesn't matter. Karmas picks up the ball. He just handballs into space in the middle of the ground. No one can get clear. It's a bit untidy. Bombers look to go up towards centre-half forward. Hocking dragged down in the tackle. It falls to Heppel. Bounces off him. Now they finally get some space. The kick inside the 50. Druggler here for Houlihan. He dragged down in the tackle. Almost taken without it. Jock trying to get there to put some pressure on. The ball still in play. Trying to hang on to it was Smith. But anyone who picks up the footy is immediately set upon, and the umpire will call a stop to it. Deep into attack here for Essendon, who trail 16-6 to 4-4. And next week for the Bombers, the ladder leaders in Richmond, as Sweet picked it up out of the ruck, released the footy eventually. Another stalemate ensues, and the umpire will come in again.
If you're looking for a difference in this game, I think a lot of dirty balls have been coming in for Essendon today. Bulldogs are far more cleaner. Stoney, if I told you that the Dogs were only +1 in inside 50s, would you be surprised by that?
I would be. Absolutely.
They're only +1.
Yeah. So the efficiency's a lot better. You're right.
Yeah.
Lance is trying to make something happen here for Essendon, but not happening in a hurry. As soon as they get at the forwards, they're in trouble. Sybil trying to get hands to it. Webb there first, though, for the Bulldogs. Handballs into space, in front Sullivan. He handballs, trying to just release the footy before he's tackled. It's untidy play. It won't be going in the highlight reel. Sybil trying to get things going, but look at this. There's a whole heap of Bulldogs lining up, and Lin Jong will take the mark, and he runs off. An opportunity to put the ball into space, which we haven't seen for the past 3 or so minutes. Gowers to run to it. He couldn't pick it up, and it's over the line. We will have it thrown in just into attack here for Essendon. A long way behind. 102 plays 28. Swiss Wellness VFL Women's to come after this game. Featuring women's side for these two clubs as balls tossed back in. Hartley doing the ruck work for Essendon. Again, going nowhere in a hurry. Lin Jong gets onto it and then stumbles at the crucial moment, but he handballed to Webb. They've got plenty of players here on the overlap. West, who's been one of the best today for Footscray. The ball intended for Kavara, but getting in the way nicely was Minot, and we will have it thrown in into attack here for Footscray. And we're playing now just for percentage to keep that roll going. And potentially 6. They've got, as we mentioned, got North Melbourne next week and then Coburg to finish off the season. Really put the foot down. And this is a really tough loss for the Bombers. It could have far-reaching consequences.
Live ladder, almost 3% now. The Dogs over the top of Essendon, which means on the live ladder they are already in second spot. That was the prize up for grabs today. Hocking inboard, Heppel plenty of space. Didn't want to shoot. Interesting decision that. Maybe the wind was a factor, so he gave it to Danny Union instead, who's much closer to goal.
It's funny how just the precision of the ball movement then was really good by the Essendon team, and it's probably the best. It's funny how the game opens up after the sides, Footscray in control, so there's a lot more space for the Essendon forwards to run into.
Yeah, but even still, we had that passage of play a little bit earlier in this quarter that they just couldn't get anything going.
True.
You talk about space, but there was none there.
That's very true.
Fairly tight angle for Danny Union to work with here. Kicks on the way. Misses near side, as is often the case for the right footers in that sort of range. 4-5-29 Essendon. Footscray 16-6, 102. As we approach the 9-minute mark of the final term. Young, long kick to the middle of the ground. Sweet was at the fall. A number of Bombers around him. It's on ground level and not coming out.
Wasn't a bad kick from Bailey Williams. The effect of the breeze today.
Yep.
Even though it hasn't been massive for the sides in terms of taking advantage. Footscray had in the second quarter, and they did take advantage. Minot, the ball inside the 50 again for the Bombers. And here is Lewis Young, who just clears the space. And there's plenty of it here on our broadcast side. Vandermeer picks it up. His kick is going to be turned over. Zerk Thatcher, a bit of don't argue work. Did well to pick up the footy. Got it to Lazaro. Handball overlapping. Oh, nice move there from Brown, who looking for a ball inside 50. And now it starts to open up. Union takes the mark again. He's on 50. He's kicked to a 2-on-1. It's going to fall over the back. It might be fortuitous. It is. It's a goal to the Bombers. And it's the skipper who is in the right place at the right time, tracking that ball towards the line. And there's a goal for Essendon. 16-6, 102 Footscray. And Essendon move on to 5-5-35. 10 minutes into the final quarter. And there was that space you were talking about, Stoney, although two Bulldogs players went up as one. It was either going to be Lant or Heppel, who were goal side, and it was the skipper.
That percentage factor, so how much percentage have they gained today so far? Not much?
No, plenty, haven't they?
Just interesting this time, we're at the 10-minute mark. Percentage is going to play a big part in the top four. So we want trying to get as much percentage as we can in this last quarter.
It's been a huge swing today.
Has it?
0.43% is the current gap.
Yeah.
Footscray is on top there.
But the gap was enormous leading in. That's what makes it interesting.
Yeah.
Back to live play. That was Essendon's first goal since the 6-minute mark of the third quarter. Union's wrapped up and not coming out there. 16-6 to 5-5. Gleeson in the ruck contest against Bauman. Well extracted by Porter. Rush kick toward half forward. Zerk Thatcher takes the relieving mark for the Bombers. Just behind true centre half back. Goes the short pass. Bauman has been impressive, the big man. In the absence of Sam Draper, he's been the one called up to play that ruck role and has done it well. Hodge, the 23rd man here for Footscray, takes the intercept mark. Deep buried in the right half-back flank. Goes down the line. We've got a game of kick-to-kick on the Doug Hawkins wing at the moment.
Just
back with Bauman. Sorry, Stoney.
Just how he'd love it. Kick-to-kick on the Doug Hawkins wing. He'd love that.
Ridley is the man that has it now for the Bombers. If you're watching us on VFL.com.au and you're watching this, it's exactly how it looks. The sting's out of this at the moment. Karmas the big fist to kill off the ball. That was intended for Lant. Boundary throw in.
You didn't get anywhere near it, Stoney. You just got out of the way.
I did. Correct.
Should have put hands to it. It's not that cold.
Too cold.
So we're between...
Soft.
We're right by the two interchange gates. Umpire throws it in. Sullivan tried to release Gleeson by hand. Overrunning it was Smith. Gleeson again. Tynan Smith involved. Bauman, good hand pass to Lant. Great tackle, Porter. Affected the disposal. Now Fletcher Roberts. We're tracking toward the boundary line. Overrun by Lynch. Heppel, Minot. The chip toward the pocket. It was very well picked up there by Ham. Had to give off the handball. Not thinking about a shot. Dixon. I think he was intending to go for Jock. It's out of bounds on the full.
Again, why? Is he in good range there? It was makeable.
It was a very curious decision, that.
Why wouldn't you have the shot?
So McComb gets it back for Footscray and finds Porter.
He does. It's clean stuff from the Bulldogs. Just scratching head of some of these decisions inside 50 for Essendon today. It could affect the sport, but plenty of numbers here. As Young gets around a would-be tackler, handballs back from whence it came pretty much, because Porter was on the end of it again. His kick going across the face, and again the numbers for the Bulldogs just proving too strong. Pruden takes the mark. He's backward of centre. Cummins takes it. He's forward of centre. Kick over the top looking for Jong. Did he keep it in? Yes, he did, as he takes the mark. 60 from goal. Wheels around his kick, heading up towards the top of the goal square. With a tall timber back for the Bombers. Bowman takes the mark. The big ruckman kicks across the ground. Well, fumble there from the skipper in Heppel. And numbers again for the Bulldogs as Hodge, the 23rd player, twisting, turning, release the footy at the crucial moments. It's a little hard to get the ball out of there. But again, it was Heppel trying to get the ball out, but only as far as Porter, and they can reset again, the Bulldogs, across the middle of the ground. And they're working their way through. As Williams goes with a long ball all the way to the goal square. And it's been marked by, guess who? Riley West. He looks up and says, that probably should have been your goal, but I'm going to take safety first. It was nicely taken too on the goal line. And goal number 4 coming up. Bang! Puts it through. 2 in the second, 2 in the last. 17-6, 108 plays 5-5-35. So the percentage gap continues to build. This is a huge win. Context of the Bulldogs season. Chance at a home final. Being in second spot after tonight. And percentage as well. A good mark taken by Riley West as he moved towards the goal line. Did well just to trap it.
Could have been playing for Australia in the second slip.
He could have.
Stoney, the percentage jump is now 6% for the Dogs today.
That's big, huge.
Whereas Essendon must have gone backwards at a rapid rate of knots.
Can we do those maths as well, Peter?
Well, yeah, because I had it as a bigger margin.
Let me call this passage and I'll get the calculator out.
Thanks.
Back in the middle. West is in the middle and shrugs off the tackler. Riley West putting on a show today. Towards half forward he goes. Eventually Sullivan has to get around Laguda. Now to Sweet from 50. High left football for the top of the square. And there might have been a push out there against Gowers. A free kick for Essendon. Full back and D. The former Tiger has it inside the goal square. Tynan. Still inside D50 of the Bombers. Tynan. Good jump for the ball. No mark taken. Mosquitoes at the fall. Now Hawking with the full 360. And hand pass. A bit of a nothing handball that gains about 10 metres of territory and not much else. Eventually a ball up.
I want you to do these calculations.
73-point ball game in favour of Footscray.
I'll leave you with it for a little while as Sweet got the ball down. Smith trying to work his way through. Now Jong gets on the end of it. They just get that run going. Oh, that was nice from West, though may have injured himself as the kick going long. It's going to be another one. Oh, it's just procession time. Wallace kicking the goal. 18-6, 114 Footscray, Essendon 5-5-35. Folks watching on VFL.com.au. Riley West just maybe a stinger.
He got a punch to the solar plexus.
Yeah, but it seemed like his shoulder got hit as well.
Essendon has lost the best part of 14% today. Started today at 160.1, currently 145.78.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's a dramatic drop. No matter which way you look at it. We'll go around the ground shortly because it is half time at our other venues. But here it is all one-way traffic. Extraordinary from the Bulldogs. And Wallace with goal number 2 for the afternoon. As the ball's back in the middle. Again a clearing kick for Footscray. Again trying to build the percentage. Tynan let it go. It falls inside 50. Laguda for the Bombers. They've been under siege today. Gets it back to Tynan. Quick kick under pressure. It's going to be turned over. Williams just paddling it forward. Tynan getting in the way again. Point of the square defensive side for Essendon. Along the Doug Hawkins wing. D just shot the handball out. He did that well in the end to Dixon, whose kick goes up the line, finds Unan. Between wing and half forward. His kick squaring up nicely. Finds Smith. So Smith again too far out to score, but he'll go long and high and try and find someone. Houlihan just taken out of the contest. Working one way, then the other was Brown. His kick across the face of goal. They still managed to keep it in, the Bombers. Hawking now across Sibbald, off a step, brings it back. It's gone too far. In fact, almost stayed in. It went across the face of goal in the end and then stayed in.
Boomerang.
Wow.
This oval-shaped ball does strange things. Ball to be tossed back in. 18-6, 114 Footscray, and 5-5-35. 19 gone in this final quarter, and Jong's just going to let the ball roll to the line, and we'll go over. So half-time at our other venues. And it is Werribee 7-2-44, leading Box Hill 4-6-30. It's Williamstown 5-8-38, leading Coburg 4-3-27. And it is 7-11-53, Port Melbourne leading Frankston 6-3-39. So tight contests in the other matches.
William found the target by hand. The Dogs are streaming forward again. Hodge goes inside 50 and Rourke Smith takes the mark and he'll have a shot on goal. It's probably a 35-degree angle. He'll kick from 45 out.
You get the distance easy.
Yeah. Has the wind died down at all? Looks to
no, still full.
Has not moved at all. I can see the Western Bulldogs flag and just fluttering away on the other side of the ground.
Hasn't had much of it today, just 6 touches, 3 marks for Rourke Smith. Does have a goal to his name. That was in the second term. Left foot's on the way, and it's a nice ball. 19-6, 120 Footscray, Essendon 5-5-35. Your margin's 85 points here on Hard Jacket. Totally Workwear, VFL Live. 6 wins in a row coming up for Footscray. It's a Kynes run home of North Melbourne and Coburg. I went to the finals, you would think, one of the hottest teams in the comp.
And potentially a home final as well back here.
A good crowd. They got a home final here. They get a nice crowd here too.
Yeah, they would. Because it's in that week where there's no other footy. Remember week 1 of the VFL finals?
Yes, it's the best week of footy.
The 4 games. So the teams finishing in the top 2 will get home finals. 5 and 6, 7 and 8. Well, 5v8 and 7v6 will be played at Port Melbourne. And they'll be the TV games in week 1 of the Love the Game final series, as we've got the ball to be thrown up, still inside the centre square. 120 plays 35. 21 and a half minutes gone in this final quarter. It's been all Footscray today. And the best performances for the season. And that's saying something, because they've had plenty of them. Ball held up, Heppel held up. And we'll have the ball thrown up. Another goal, and they will record their highest score for the season so far. And it looks like the momentum is building irresistibly. A good record since they've gone back standalone. Footscray, as Hocking just shoved Webb out of the way and give him one to go on with as well. The umpire's seen both of those and will give Lucas Webb the footy.
They're going for a 3rd premiership in 6 seasons as a standalone entity, Footscray.
Yeah, the remarkable run of success. The kick going long, they fly. Jock had the front position, couldn't pick it up. Bowman just shot the handball out only as far as William. Breaks the tackle, now dropped the footy. McComb coming through, he picked it up, then lost it. Hartley dragged down in the tackle. No one can get clear here. It's hard and tough sort of stuff. But here's West again. There's a shot at the goal. Puts it through for a behind. So 19-7, 121. Plays 5-5-35. Almost 23 minutes gone in the final quarter. As Hartley goes with a long ball, but he's turned it over right on the paint of 50. And William has taken the mark and should go back and have the shot.
I would.
Oh, no, he wants to give it off. And he does, but he turns it over. Gee, he kicked it straight to Smith as if he was wearing a Bulldogs jersey.
Ruffy didn't even advise him to do that, Stoney.
No.
Should have kicked the goal.
He should have just had the shot. That far in front, why not have a go?
It's in the hands of Ridley. Tries to drill a pass into the chest of Laguda. Successful in doing so. Next in the chain is Land. Pruden did well, then laced the tackle. Good defensive pressure by the Bulldogs skipper, leading by example. Umpire crosses his arms.
Good Seymour boy, Joshy Pruden.
Well,
sorry, say that again, Stoney.
He's a good Seymour boy.
Seymour.
Yep. You know, the town, about 100 k's from here.
Bush Ranger.
Goulburn Valley Heartland.
Yep.
Good league that, Stoney.
Good league.
So it's a scrap for the ball here. Jong did well to extract the handball in the end. West Scott, they work it out well here. The Dogs. Lynch bypassed one tackler, but not the second. Good tackle by Tynan. Free kick Essendon at right half back.
He said that the sting's out of the game, but there's just a little bit of heat as we head towards full time.
Margin is 86 points.
No, this has been a good day for Footscray. It's been a good day for Mark Stone. Not a drop of rain.
At this rate, the Bulldogs will host the qualifying final here on that weekend where there is no AFL action. Is that right?
Yep.
Yep.
If they finish top 2, of course. I think that's what you're hinting at.
The other team in the box seat for the second year in a row to do that is Richmond.
Where's that? The VU Swinburne Centre?
No, that's the Swinburne Centre. Don't mix those two up. They're competitors.
Of course, Tigers had that.
Centre.
Tigers had that last year. It was a night game against Williamstown.
Where did they have that?
The lights went out at the
Swinburne Centre, Punt Road Oval.
So Lynch now, empty square. The kick is dribbling.
Oh, come on!
And it goes all the way. When it rains, it pours. It's been that to the day.
You're not.
Don't say that. When it rains, it pours.
For the Bulldogs, 27-127, Essendon 5-5-35. They keep going. They might win this by 3 figures.
Yeah, that's crept up on us, hasn't it, Stoney?
It certainly has. As the lights on the scoreboard are now pronounced.
Yeah.
More and more.
More and more overcast. So
the twilight game coming up next here. Swiss Wellness VFL Women's.
Yep. These two sides again. The women's side of things. Anthony Stangett's joining me for commentary of that one. And we'll have that for you. That bounce at 4 o'clock this afternoon, live on VFL.com.au. So if you are heading to Marvel Stadium, I'll give you something to watch and listen to on SEN2 via the app and digital radio as you head to the ground. As the kick coming towards the 54, the Bombers picking up is Union, dragged down in the tackle, and it's holding the footy again. The pressure great from Williams. And his kick wants to get things moving quickly. No mark taken. It's on the true centre wing position, and the numbers for the Bulldogs irresistible. Webb is there. The Bulldog may have landed heavily in that contest. Hodge, the 23rd player, excellent. Finds Smith. Handball across William. They're just going to work this out. The kick from Williams goes high and across the face of goal. And West couldn't pick it up, and Jock just sends it through for a rush behind to 28-128. Plays 5-5-35, 26 and a half minutes gone in this final quarter. And remember, next week, our broadcast game, Essendon, can they bounce back against Richmond at Windy Hill? Union picks it up for Essendon in the middle of the ground. His kick runs into the umpire, who wasn't even looking where it was going. The ball moving that quickly. Roberts got the handball out, though. Footscray just trying to clear. Round 1, round 2, slalom style. Lynch got it back across. Cummins did well. Looks a lively type, doesn't he, for the Bulldogs? But just handballed into a dangerous spot, and the umpires should call a stop here. There you go. There's your whistle.
Sun's out, gentlemen.
The sun is out again. Wondering who Stoney's going to grab post-match. Plenty in contention for player of the day. I'll leave that to you, Stoney, as William goes with a high ball, looking for Kavara, held out of it by Long. Still Bulldogs numbers, still Kavara again, just coming out of nowhere. He's just got that closing speed, but coughed the ball up to Zirk Thatcher, who handballed dangerously to Laguda, who just had to handball to Jock because he was wrapped up in the tackle. Now Long shoots the handball out to no one in particular. Webb picks it up for Footscray. Kick partially smothered. Porter there as well. Now Smith, handball across Jong. 60 from goal. He's kicked just putting it into the path of Gowers, who gets around a couple. And then lining up here, the Bulldogs. Sweet. Well, it went through him. D's under all sorts of pressure. Jock getting there, putting some pressure on. Now Ridley takes it over for another rush behind. Now it's set up for the Hundy. 28-128 to 5-5-35. It's 7 points away. They get another score quickly. We know how quickly they can score. 100 not out of the question. The kick out. Laguda takes the mark defensively.
Now Lant has it for Essendon.
Because it's been 6-1 in this final term and a lot of stoppages, so it could go 32 minutes this quarter.
The draw does not get any easier for the Bombers. They have Richmond at Windy Hill next week. Right here on Hard Jacket, Totally Workwear VFL Live.
And then Geelong away in the final round.
That'll be at GMHBA Stadium.
How long you got in the coverage, boys, left?
I'll let Peter
plenty of time.
Answer that. Heppel gets it in front of Smith. Hand pass off. This is Ham.
Or it could go 29 minutes.
Footscray second on the VFL ladder. 28-128. They win it by 93 points over Essendon, 5-5-35. In the end, 4 goals apiece for Riley West and Ruben William. 30 touches for Callum Porter. The Dogs were far too good for Essendon today.
They certainly were. What a cracking performance from the Bulldogs. We weren't expecting that. Tough conditions today, but they end up winning by 93 points. And what it means is that they are in second spot on the ladder. And, of course, they gain a whole bunch of percentage as well. As we hear the song in the background, they led by 17 at quarter time, 54 at half time, 61 at three-quarter time. And they won by 93 points. 4 goals to Riley West, 3 to Guevara, 4 goals, of course, for Ruben William. We'll go through all the rest in a moment. Stoney, you've got Josh Pruden with you, the skipper.
What a great four-quarter performance today. It was just some of the best footy you've played all year, you think?
I think so. Our boys sort of looked pretty mature out there. We're a pretty young group and we've been working on 4-quarter effort. Showed today.
Captain, get this side. It's a pretty big effort for yourself. You've been at Footscray a few years now, but really good to have these boys underneath you.
Yeah, well, I'm one of the old boys. I'm 24 and considered old, so it's a good vibe off the field as well, and we're pushing some good form on it.
6 games in a row, winning games in a row now, and to win by this much with finals coming up, it's a really good result going forward.
Yeah, it'll give us a bit of confidence going into the finals. We don't know what the top 4 is going to look like, but we've got another couple of games to go and we'll build a bit more form there, hopefully, and we'll take it in the finals.
Thanks, Josh. Good luck.
Beautifully done, Stoney. I might say we can get one more out on the ground too before we wind up. I'll go through those Bulldogs goal kickers again. I was kind of looking at what Stoney was doing. 4 goals to Riley West, 4 goals to Ruben William, 3 goals to Kavara and 2 each to Lynch, Smith and Wallace, and singles to Gowers, Sweet and Scott. And for the Bombers, just quickly, all singles across the board: Ham, Lant, Heppel, Lazaro and Smith. A 93-point win to Footscray. And as Adam Sarakoglu mentioned, the massive transition in terms of percentage switching. It was about 20% the differential. Now the Bulldogs are in front and they're in second spot.
And a 7% gap they have now over the Bombers as well. A half game clear. Of course, they drew against Box Hill. I think it was a TV game earlier in the year, so they have that advantage as well. As Stoney got another interview for us.
Yeah, go back to you, Stoney.
Yeah, you got Lewis Young. Lewis, a great result. You had a good game today. Really, really polished down back.
Yeah, good team effort. I think the pressure that the forwards and the mids put on the ball helped us backs out, and we just ran in waves. It was a really good game today. Good team effort.
Really good building up to the finals. You've got a couple of games left, but 6 games in a row now you've won. So a good result leading into the finals.
Yeah, we're getting some really good form. We're getting a bit of continuity with the side. Blokes are playing every week, and we're really starting to form as a side. And as you can see today, we all just played really well as a team.
Happy playing down back, mate. It's a hard position to play down there. All the forwards and players run around your legs.
Yeah, it can be hard. On a day like today, you find it easy because the mids and the forwards are putting so much pressure on the ball. It's just sitting up and makes it so much easier for us backs. We appreciate it every time from the mids and the forwards. So, yeah, makes our job a lot easier.
Thanks, Lewis.
No worries,
Beautifully done. Thank you, Mark Stone, as well. Bulldogs 93-point win. That is another element to all of this. We talk about teams heading towards premiership is how many you can keep on the park at any one particular time. And that was a good point from Lewis Young, that this team is staying together, sticking together quite nicely. Obviously, you will see some movement at AFL level, but at the VFL level, they've got, even though it is a younger side, they've still got that experience in there.
Yeah, it's a really
good players, yeah.
It's really good with their team that they've got and the players, and they all play the same brand. The Footscray and Western Bulldogs team play the similar brand and running style, running gunning, and while they've got their fleet of foot players there, they're a very dangerous side.
Oh, absolutely, as they make their way off the ground, and good applause from the crowd as well. Daniel G and Syracuse are getting a nice round of applause as he made his way up the race. Stoney going in there as well. We're going to try and achieve the impossible and go underneath the grandstand to try and get the song.
We did get it at Windsor Hill last week.
Yeah, different setup here.
Bombers only had 10 AFL listed players today. Footscray had 14, so there was a fair advantage there for Footscray.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different goal scorers for the Bulldogs this week. They've kicked their highest score for the year against a tough opponent. They've just demolished the second place Bombers. Oh, we were so close as well. So we won't be able to bring you the song, but that'll be it. We'll leave our streaming audience there. We'll continue on SEN2 for a little while before we move ourselves into Swiss Wellness VFL Women's Mode. I'll bring you some final scores. Actually, I'll bring you some around the ground scores just quickly before we finish up on our live stream. If you've been following us all afternoon, they're into the third quarter at our other venues. Downer Oval, it's 5-8-38. Williamstown leading Coburg by 3 points, 5-5-35. At Adcon Stadium, 6 minutes into the third quarter, 8-11-59. Port Melbourne leading Frankston 6-3-39. And Werribee 7-3-45, 8 minutes into the third quarter, leading Box Hill 5-6-36. You can track all those scores via the VFL app and, of course, the VFL website as well. And the match about to get underway down at GMHBA Stadium sees Geelong taking on North Melbourne. But that's it for our streaming audience today. Next week we will be live at Windy Hill. See if Essendon can bounce back against Richmond. That now becomes a massive game for both of those clubs, with Footscray rampaging. Today it was Footscray 28-128, defending Essendon 5-5-35 for our streaming audience on VFL.com.au. We'll catch you again next week.